It smells very good in here.
Yes, it does.
Dude, I'm still eating the food from the last show. I'm like a wedding crasher here. This is great.
Right. You're just going to stay through all the night, right?
I'm just going to stay all night
You'll last
here.
into Sam's show.
I get booked for like just nights here. I'm just like, yeah, Brian will just sit here and eat food.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program. My name is Erik Nagel. I am your host. If you want to give us a call, 866-969-1969. We have some stuff to give away. Some Furious 7 Extended Edition Blu-rays. And who knew that they were still making Tremors?
Ooh, Tremors 5. Keep
Tremors
on
5,
trembling.
Still with Michael Gross.
Well, you know what? That's a great role for him.
Oh, what does? All right, you got me. I thought it said Keep on Trembling.
No, it's called Bloodlines.
Bloodlines. I didn't look at the rest of the front there.
I really like Keep on Trembling.
We have those to give away and various other stuff. Matt OG is my co-host, Geek Stuff OG on Twitter and Instagram. He's running a little bit behind. As we've said before, with the new time change and everything, that, you know, Matt works a real job like a regular person. So it takes him a little bit more to get into the city, especially with the weather being what it is. I guess you guys are saying we're in the middle of a hurricane right now.
It's like treacherous conditions out there. Every time you walk down the street, it's just, you get hit with cats. Like, just cats everywhere.
Well, he should be en route soon. I think we're going to get him on the phone in just a minute and talk to him. Gittles is here.
Hey, what's up, man?
Gittle Base on the Twitter and Instagram. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm eating fried chicken that's left over from the last show. It's delicious.
I know. I have nothing.
Here, you want one of these biscuits?
There's some mac and cheese.
I'm not a biscuit fan. I do want to see mac and cheese.
Oh, here.
Is there any chicken left?
Chicken? You have the rest of my piece.
No. What is that one there?
That's half a pie.
This is
Oh, damn it! I didn't.
not on
You know what?
pie.
It's probably better that I didn't eat any of that stuff. It looks delicious, but
Oh, it's so good, Eric.
I'm down about 14 pounds. So
You're
I'm
looking
trying,
fantastic,
I'm trying
Eric.
to get
Looking slim.
the no sugar thing is definitely helping, and I'm going to start the workout process.
How do you
again,
feel
so.
like energy-wise? You feel good?
Energy, I've been
sleeping
great.
better.
Yes, energy, I've been great because I don't have the part where I'm crashing like midday here at work or driving home when you know. You're going to, fade off the road there and trying to do everything. You're punching yourself, drinking, countless bottles of 5-hour energy just to stay awake to get home for a half an hour drive.
Cranking the music is singing along with the window up and getting hit with the hurricane.
Come on, 40s channel.
Yeah.
Or Yacht Rock when that was still around.
doing Kegels.
Yeah.
Right. And, I've been doing good with sans sugar and falling asleep when you're supposed to fall asleep, between the 8 and 9 p.m. hour when you have school the next day.
Yes, that's the perfect time to fall
Instead
asleep.
of being, up at 1 in the morning, still trying to find, Rick and Morty reruns on Adult Swim, or seeing if Simpsons is still on FXX.
That's what I do every night. That's
Or
how I
the
fall
league.
asleep.
Right.
And then I wake up in the morning, I'm like, what did I do last night? The laptop is still open, there's pop-ups just going, I have no idea what's happening.
I've wasted my life.
Pretty much.
So there's that. We didn't introduce Lisa Correro. Hello, welcome back.
Hello, I am back.
You've been out on your ventures there doing stand-up comedy and such.
Oh, you know. Yes, and I'm back in New York, and it's really gross here.
It's horrible, right?
Yeah. It's not even the rain I care about. It's all the people with their dumb umbrellas.
Ugh.
You should be used to it. You're from Florida.
Yeah, I don't walk around outside in Florida, though.
Is this going to
Stay
be your
indoors.
first New York hurricane?
You know what? I was actually here for right when Sandy was coming in. I was doing a festival, a comedy festival, the She Devil Comedy Festival, and I did manage to
She-Devil,
get
like
a flight.
Roseanne Barr?
Right? Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was the Roseanne Barr Comedy Festival in New York.
No one else saw that movie?
No.
Like she
No,
had like
I
a
don't know what
wart
you're
and a
talking about.
mustache and wore glasses. Yeah, She-Devil. And then she made a deal with the devil to become
She-Devil?
super sexy. and
yes.
wound up killing her husband. Maybe I'm getting the
Jesus.
plot wrong, but it was something along the line.
Yes, I forgot about that.
I've never heard
Pull
of
up
this.
an image while Lisa finishes her story.
Okay. Well, that's all there is to the story.
Oh, thank you. Way to
I
fill.
could add details that didn't really happen, though.
So I have a question, because I hate the rain because of umbrellas, and I have this fear that they're always going to hit me in the eye.
Sure.
Do you have the same problem? Because I know you're shorter. I don't know
am
how it
shorter.
affects you as opposed to like taller people.
I don't know.
Because I just feel like
people
there's-
still hit me with their umbrellas.
They just
so
still get hit?
Yeah, it doesn't matter
sucks.
that I'm below where I should be getting hit. It's still so. Like one time, this
She drowning in puddles. Is
Yeah.
that what you're saying?
Yes.
You're
I
going
drown
for a
in
short
puddles.
joke?
No, I would know. I'm
tacky.
just perfectly. I want to know if you get hit in the eye with umbrellas, because
Yes, is the answer.
That's what I want to know. Because
well, there's a
it
lot of
happens.
little Asian women out here too, and they
Yeah.
also have umbrellas, and they're quite oblivious to who they're hitting. And I did have an umbrella catch my hat one day. I had like a knit hat, caught the
take it
hat,
right
and
off.
yeah, it was just pulling me just pulling me along. I had to go home with that person. We still live together.
And that's how I got my roommate.
And that's how they met. Nobody, excuse me, I pulled up the trailer here for She-Devil.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Can you see it over there?
Oh, 1989.
Wow.
All right, hold on. Let's do that.
Ooh, Ed Begley Jr.
Oh.
First of all, you know it's old because Orion Films doesn't exist anymore.
I was just going to say, Orion Films is gone.
Ed Begley Jr., I think of being an environmentalist and a large
Robin Leach, and I'm here at the luxurious home of the super glamorous
Robin
romance
Leach, very
writer
80s.
Mary Fisher. She's the woman who has everything. Beauty, fame,
My books reflect my own experience of lovemaking as sacred and beautiful.
and plenty of hired help.
I bet she makes you
I think her boyfriend's Peter North.
But could it be that something
I just
is
loved how this
missing
has
from this
7,500 views and only 14 thumbs up and 1 thumbs down.
How does it only have 1 thumbs
3
down?
years ago.
Well, it's still Meryl Streep, you know?
To see how
Where's the Roseanne part?
Meet Ruth.
There
There
she
she
is.
is.
She is.
Who are the people uploading these trailers? Like, yeah, no, I got to put the official She-Devil trailer on YouTube.
Yeah, but look at her. She's
Oh,
got
yeah,
a
she
mustache,
does have
she's got a
the-
wart.
She has a rat in the...
What could these
What is
two
this?
women possibly have in common?
Wow.
What could they have in common?
The trailer's not even telling
good
you what
question.
this movie is.
There's just things flying around.
She's eating like disgusting food.
I
She
do
fell
want
down the
to
stairs.
watch this now.
Someone get this deranged woman out of here.
What? Whoa.
Oh, so that's what it was. She didn't make a deal to become a trap. Excuse me, a drug. I'm dying.
Eric, please don't die.
Yeah, don't die, bud.
I'm guessing that's my deal with the devil. I'm losing weight, but meanwhile my sickness is going up.
Well, hopefully you're not losing weight because of your sickness.
No, it's ironic that way.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, She-Devil. You should
Do you
check
think
that out.
Meryl Streep puts that on her resume still?
Oh, yeah.
Like at the top.
No. Much like, what was that? Not Witches of Eastwick.
Death Becomes Her?
No, yes, Death
The
Becomes
one
Her.
where she can't die?
Yes.
Yeah.
That one was horrible, too. And
Is
I
that
remember.
Bette Midler who was in that, or she was the other witch one?
No, she was in the one with Sarah Jessica Parker.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And
Hocus Pocus.
I feel like
Cher?
I liked Death Becomes Her when I saw it, though.
I did enjoy that when I saw it. I do not remember anything about it,
Yeah.
but I do remember liking it.
Yeah.
You don't remember? I remember that she was dead. She kept painting her skin because she kept turning gray, and Bruce Willis wound up cheating on her, and she wound up killing him, so he had to be dead
Oh,
too.
yeah, that's right.
Spoiler,
Oh,
in case you haven't seen it, and it's not 1992 anymore.
what's not? We're
Oh,
3
Goldie
years.
Hawn was the other one.
Yeah.
There you are. Yeah, we're not going to play that.
No, we're not going
Gotta
to play
watch
that.
that
to
again.
consider that. Let me tell you what's coming on the show today, and then we'll get into some other things here. We are pretty guest heavy, which is nice. In about 15 minutes or so, we'll talk to Phil Rosenthal. I don't know where Roland is. I know he wanted to talk to him too. Phil Rosenthal is the co-creator of Everybody Loves Raymond.
Okay.
And he has a brand new show on PBS called I'll Have What Phil's Having. And it's somewhere in the middle between Anthony Bourdain and Guy Fieri. So you're not getting the cheap comfort food and you're not getting the posh cultured food. Somewhere in the middle where he goes around the world and just shows everybody in the restaurant the food that he likes and he thinks everybody else will like at this particular place.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll buy
sounds
it.
good.
Yeah, so food shows are always entertaining and
Yeah.
everybody watches them at all hours of the day. So we'll talk to him in a little bit. A little later on, Elizabeth Rodriguez, one of the stars of Fear the Walking Dead.
Oh, yeah.
On AMC. Also, she's the mother of the inmate who got pregnant by the security guard in Orange is the New Black.
Yes.
That's my way of saying I don't remember her character name. I'm just pointing that out.
Very long-winded way to get to that.
Right. Also, Bob Gale, around 7 o'clock, will be calling in live. I believe he's in London. He's calling in to promote the 30th anniversary of Back to the Future, and they're doing something really cool here in Manhattan at Radio City Music Hall. They're going to do a screening of the movie, but the soundtrack is going to be performed by a live orchestra while you watch it
Yes.
in Radio City Music
Like they
Hall.
did with Lord of the Rings that time?
Right.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
So the whole movie score is going to be done by the orchestra as you sit there in, probably one of the most famous theaters in the world, which is huge. It's an amazing experience. October 15th and 16th.
And that's got a great score, too.
Right. I think we're getting... God damn. I think we're getting passes and stuff for it. So that'll be
Sweet.
fun.
oh my
And then also Zachary Levi, who I've wanted to have on the show for a long time, finally comes on the show to talk about Heroes Reborn on NBC. You may, of course, know him from his role as Chuck on NBC way back when. And he also has a clothing line called Nerd Headquarters.
Oh, I would have thought it was Levi's.
No, boo. So he has Nerd Headquarters, which is this big geek site now where they make really well-made clothes. Because a lot of, nerdy, geeky clothing is just like iron-on prints or quick presses, and the clothing's not really of the best materials.
And they never fit right. Like, you can never buy, like, 2 shirts and have them both fit the same. Like every company uses different, stock for their shirts, either American Apparel or, like, Hanes. And they all fit differently. They all shrink differently.
Right.
It's kind of frustrating.
Like the quick prints that they have at Target.
Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden they'll have... what did I see recently? They had a Bill and Ted one, but it was too busy. Like, I love Bill and Ted, but I wouldn't wear that because it was just too much. And when you have too big a decal that looks like it's ironed on?
Yeah.
So if you're doing anything and you kind of sweat, it sticks to you. Like, it's like plastic. Yeah, it's horrible.
But speaking of shirts, that's a really nice Rick and Morty shirt.
Yes.
It is.
The Star Wars Rick and Morty?
It's,
or where that is?
It's the original Star Wars poster, but it's Rick and Morty, and Mr. Meeseeks is the Death Star.
It's pretty awesome.
Great. Yes. Did you watch the last episode?
I'm trying to think, which was the last episode?
The Purge.
All right, I didn't. I did, but I didn't finish it.
Okay.
It's good.
I think I had like 10 minutes left in it.
Okay.
But so far, the season was well done.
Yes.
Except for that
Amazing.
episode 2 weeks ago. I don't know.
Which
I didn't
one?
like that one.
Which one?
The flashback to Ricksty Minutes, where they did like the new Ricksty Minutes with like the Improv TV network. The one where Jerry had to give his penis as a heart.
Right.
I don't know. I didn't really care for that one. But.
That one was just, I think that one was weird for the sake of being weird.
Well, that one was just interesting because, like, when it started off, like, Rick basically said, he's like, oh, I thought we pretty much nailed this the first time, but here we go. But the best was Justin Roiland's Twitter the next day because he was just like, yes, I wrote that episode by myself, so you could just direct all your hate to me.
Was there a lot of hate for it?
Why?
It was a very polarized. Like, if you went on Reddit, it was basically just Meeseeks ripping themselves apart over who loved the episode and who thought it was the worst thing ever. Like, it is really a polarizing episode.
Wow, I'm amazed.
I still enjoyed it.
I thought they could do no wrong.
No. That episode definitely had a lot of angry feedback.
All right, well, so be it.
Just so you know.
They all can't be gems.
Nope.
But, Lewis, any luck getting Matt on the phone?
Matt's in a tunnel somewhere.
I've tried a couple times. He hasn't answered yet. I'm going to keep calling back.
Oh, no.
I hope he's okay.
Hope his train's not, like, trapped underground. And because, they're predicting a lot of these places getting, like, 15 inches of rain, that it's flooding inside the tunnel.
And he's just sitting there, like, just gasping for air at the top of the
Just
train.
in an air
There's
bubble,
just a 3-inch gap from the top of the train there. And then,
Sylvester Stallone has to save him.
Yeah, Daylight.
No,
whatever that movie was.
No, Matt's the star of this movie here. He's the hero. So he
Yeah.
has to go up and gasp
course
for
he is.
breath, take a big gulp, and then go down, and he's trying to get the train between cars to open up.
Yeah, no, he's going down. He's trying to get, like, his Funko Pop out of his bag to bring it above air.
Oh, well.
Poor Matt.
Can
Hopefully
we talk
he'll make it here.
about, before we go on, can we talk about your comedy show that you're doing tomorrow?
Yes.
This is some big news.
Yeah, I'm opening for Patton Oswalt tomorrow at Foxwoods in Connecticut.
How awesome is that?
That's fucking great.
Got 2 shows, and that's pretty much it.
Patton Oswalt, good friend to Opie and Jimmy in
Yeah.
this channel. Also,
That's awesome.
one of the returning stars to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agents
on
of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
ABC.
yeah.
Really?
And in so
Yeah.
many
Patton Oswalt?
things.
He was in season 2, did very well, was a great character. It's not what you expect Patton to play, and pulled it off amazingly, and he's back for season 3.
Interesting. I know he does a lot of voices on, like, cartoons and stuff like that, but I didn't know he was on that.
He did Rick and Morty this
He
season.
did Rick and
Yes,
Morty,
he
and he
did.
did BoJack Horseman, too.
See, I gotta start watching that. I haven't started BoJack Horseman yet, but it's on my list.
It's good. It's just, there's episodes where you're like, oh, this is pretty good, and then it gets really dark, like, just depressingly dark, and you're like, all right, this is some very interesting plot. but I don't know. I like it. I think it's cool. I think when that show took the darker turn, I actually liked it more than I did before it did. So I don't know. I would recommend watching it. Season 2 is great.
It is great. All the episodes I found are on AdultSwim.com. So you can watch everything.
What, BoJack? They're all on Netflix.
No, I'm sorry. I'm still thinking of Rick and Morty.
I know you are.
I'm just sitting there getting swifty. All those episodes are on Adult Swim, but BoJack Horseman, I think it's 2 seasons?
2 seasons. They're all on
right?
Netflix.
And I saw something about, I think they're doing another one.
Probably.
And the amazing show. That's on my list. And what was the other show that we talked about? Wet Hot American Summer.
Oh, it's so good.
I finally finished everything.
I have 3 episodes left, so I haven't finished it yet. I'm just taking my time with it. I go through shows too fast, and then everything blurs together, so I've been pacing myself with this, but I really like it.
Okay, get it done soon, because next week's Comic-Con, I don't know if we're doing a live show next week or not, if we're doing it the week after, but definitely finish it. So far, H. John Benjamin's role in it is amazing.
He's so good. Well, as soon as I saw him with the can, and I knew that it was going to happen. And I didn't know how it was going to happen, but like when it happened, it was great.
I'll just say this, because people should have seen it. If it's not, the entire season again is up on Netflix. H. John Benjamin, great actor, from when they actually use him to be the actor live on screen. And somewhere through this and goes, you know what? It would be better if we just put H. John Benjamin as a voice. Mm-hmm. So let's figure out how to transition him in this show to a different role where we still have him, but you're getting the element that we really want from him.
Well, I mean, he was the Ken in the movie. Right. So it was just how he was going to become that. I was trying not to spoil it for people. Well. Sorry. Pretty much the show on Netflix is a prequel to the movie. Yeah. No, wait, it's not a prequel to the movie. Yeah, it is.
Yes,
the movie takes place after the show.
Right. I'm thinking for some reason there was something that leads to the next season, but I was wrong on that. That's in
there
the
might
movie.
be.
I'm blurring. All right, so this is what I did. I did exactly what you said. I watched the movie and I watched the TV show like straight through, and everything got blurred.
That's the problem. You can't do that.
So you got to space it out.
All
right. Hey, Roland, how are you, man?
Good.
How was the food court?
I think good.
I was listening in the back. Sounded great.
Oh, thank you.
Glad to be back.
Yeah. So I came. Restaurants, open your doors. I will take your free food. And your women, too.
Bring women and food, and you can be on Roland's food court.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm cheap.
The one lady you had on was very nice, because she's the one that you get the desserts from all the time.
Yeah.
Butterscotch, right?
Yeah, butter and scotch.
Butter and Scotch in Brooklyn, and they make all these desserts that are infused with alcohol. Yeah. And you got that strawberry rhubarb thing, and then you had a cherries jubilee thing, which I loved.
Oh, there's this dark and stormy caramel corn here too.
Everything she makes is phenomenal.
So there's another plug for them.
And there's some more birthday cake over there, I think.
Right. All the fried chicken went away. Who took it all?
Falcone and I think young Adrian.
Fuck them! I didn't even get him.
I got a small piece.
Look at Lewis. Lewis is pissed off. He wants a piece too. He didn't get anything.
Dude, Falcone was circling like buzzards, just waiting.
You said somebody stole fried chicken. I just wanted to make sure everyone knew it wasn't me.
That's racist, Lewis, and I will not tolerate that.
Yeah, Lewis was given fried chicken.
I don't know what we're going to do with Lewis here. He's becoming a problem.
The piece I had was very, very delicious.
It looks good. I thought that was a piece of chicken over there, and then Gills told me it's a piece of pie.
It's a pecan pie.
So I can't have that.
It's really good, too.
The cake over here looks really good. I can't have that
It's
either.
sugar-free, she said.
No, it's not.
I know.
It's free sugar.
It's like, look at all the sugar frosting that's baked onto the cake there.
You can eat that and you have a good night's sleep.
That will one piece will undo the 40-plus days that I've tried to build off of that.
Yeah, you could do it.
Are you going to do another food court?
I think so.
When?
I think maybe next week. I don't know.
Next week?
Yeah.
During Comic-Con?
Well,
I would wait 2 weeks. Because you're going to be busy next week with us.
Yeah, there's a guest. He's texted me he might be in town, wants to stop by.
Ooh. Big guest?
Yeah.
What does he do in the food world?
Nothing. He's in the TV world.
In the TV world?
Yeah.
It's not the person we're going to talk to in about 7 minutes, is it?
No.
Because I was going to say, don't double book.
No. He has his 2 TV shows, and he's up in an upcoming movie, too. So he texts me, he goes, hey, I'm free on Friday.
2 TV shows and an upcoming movie.
Yeah.
Food TV shows?
He's in the X-Files.
What?
Ooh, right. I forgot you told me about that.
Yes, that's my tease.
There you go. Cigarette smoking man.
Ooh.
There you go.
Spoiler alert.
Matt's here. Hi.
Hello. How are you?
Oh, wait.
Did you make it through the hurricane all right?
There you go.
I mostly made it through the hurricane. The only thing worse than walking through New York City and avoiding people on their cell phones is walking through New York City and avoiding people on their cell phones while holding umbrellas. So
we're just saying, man.
Yeah, it was a bit of a challenge, but I'm here.
How are you?
A little wet, but
Yeah,
but okay.
That's all right. You can flap your arms and air out.
I'm going to eat this cake, though. I'm telling you right now.
for it, man.
That's my dinner.
Whatever else.
We got some biscuits over here, too.
Nice.
There you go. How's your week been? I haven't talked to you in a while because I was down in Florida, which I'll get to in a little bit.
Right.
But yeah, I haven't seen you in like 2 weeks.
I don't think I did anything really exciting. It's just been been life as usual, just rolling through life, getting ready for New York Comicon, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, New York Comicon is next week here in New York City,
I can't
obviously.
believe it's coming up. Oh, my God.
It's the 8th through the 12th, which is Thursday through Sunday,
Yep.
which is normally the run that they do. And a lot's going to be going on next week between our show, Big Kev's show, and all the other things Matt has to do in between.
Forget about it.
It's like Matt dealing with with 2 wives.
It's like a whole family. It's like a reunion in my booth. But it is what it is.
Give out
and
the booth and everything.
It's
126, right?
129.
29.
We're going to be in booth 129. That's close to the Block, I think it's called, which is where like all the designer artist toys and stuff are.
Is Jenny there?
I hope not. We're on the main floor this year. We're not in Artist Alley. It's going to be a good show, man. Last year, 151,000 people came through over the course of the entire run of the show. This year, I think they're pushing to break that a little bit. I think some more of the Javits Center might be less under construction than it has been. So
it's done, right?
I think finally all of it's done. Last year, there were still some small areas that were kind of like...
I think all the work near the Javits Center now is all the stuff that they're clearing out because I think they're trying to make more hotels.
Yeah, they're redeveloping that whole area, right? Their subway station just opened up, 2 weeks ago or something
the one
like
on
that?
34th and whatever, or 26th and 12th or something.
And so they're trying to redevelop that whole area, which, look, in a couple of years will be really good for New York Comic-Con, but for this year, it's just going to be another, shit show.
Yeah.
But it's going to be good. It's always a fun time.
Are there any panels or anything you're really excited for?
To be quite honest with you, I gave up on panels at every single convention I go to years and years ago.
Panels will take up, panels will take up, if you're going as a spectator, will take up most of your time. You might enjoy the one you get to see because you'll see a list of everything that's going to be there and you go, I want to see this one, this one, this one. And you're lucky to see one, if maybe 2 of these panels because of the lines. If you're looking at the bigger star caliber at these Comic-Cons, you're pretty much better off. If there's one that you really want, go and see it, but they're not gonna come down and take photos after the panel or shake hands and you're like, maybe I'll snag it. They just walk off. So if you're looking to do that, there's better ways to spend your time at Comic-Con unless you really want to see. If you don't want to do the panels, chances are they're all going to be online either later that day or within a couple of days, so you're not going to miss anything.
Yeah, for me, Comic-Con is really more about Artist Alley. Like, I really love that section of the show. And then it's more about hanging out with friends and catching up with people I don't get to see except for at Comic-Con. I have friends coming in from the UK, and I have friends from, the West Coast that'll be here, and from the middle of the country that I only get to see this time of year. So, for me, it's really much more about that than it is about panels. The con for me really is a reunion in a weird sort of way. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of, for 4 days, it's not a bad way to spend a couple hours.
Are there any exclusives that you're have to get?
I have one.
Well, yeah.
Well, what's yours?
Well, we're going to go see our friends at Funko.
Oh, right. Of course.
There's another Doctor Who exclusive specifically for New York Comic-Con.
Right.
And I'm going to go over there and get that. We're going to talk to the people at Funko again during this con.
Yeah.
Explain everything that's going on for the holiday season.
Funko's got some decent stuff I'm checking out, but I found the exclusives that I want shrink each year too, which I'm kind of okay with because it means I don't have to really put myself into that madness. And a lot of the bigger companies like Hasbro, Mattel, they don't come to New York, or they do, but they don't really do exclusives a lot of the times. I don't think NECA is there this year.
Yeah, I don't think
so. No, probably. I mean, there's maybe some like designer vinyl and like limited edition artist pieces that I really want to check out. But no, not really.
And if you're not looking for the major toy brands like Hasbro and Mattel and things like that, or the, I guess I'd call it the second tier, as far as like Kid Robot and Titan and those kind of things, Funko, that's also a great time if you're a collector of art or figures or anything like that, to see the smaller independent people and check out what they have. Since the bigger guys aren't there and there's not going to be all the lines for that kind of stuff that you want, you can check out the smaller artists and the independent people, and you're going to find some new stuff that you're like, holy crap, I didn't know this existed, or I like this person's interpretation on whatever it is, and you may find some new interests and some new things to collect.
I found, like, when I was walking around Comic-Con last year, I had the press pass on, and I was doing a lot of stuff over by, like, Artist Alley, and where, like, all the individual, like, not the bigger toy companies, but, like, you know, the more independent toy companies were. And I found that the second I was there and they saw that press pass, it was like, here's some books, here's some toys, it was awesome. It was like Christmas.
Cool.
They were just giving me everything.
Well, again, they're looking for a little bit of exposure in that sea of people that are there to see video games and the bigger companies and the bigger Hollywood panels. And for me now, it's more about walking around and stumbling upon something. Like, it's a surprise. I like the surprise of it all.
That's what I like, too. I like just, like, wandering around the things you see.
Yeah, that's it. So, and I get booth locked for a lot of the con, too. You know, I spend a lot of time over there, and so, but it's, again, good times, man.
Well, we got a lot to do over at New York Comicon.
Sure.
We have a rundown here of a bunch of stuff. Excuse me, that we're going to get to. As far as the show, I'm trying to figure out, I don't know if we're going to be live next week just because of the scheduling of interviews and what have you. So I was thinking of doing the show next Saturday, but I think we might push it to the following Friday so we can, be here and play everything.
Sure.
And there's a lot of interviews that we got confirmed for. I'll run down a few of them if you're interested here.
Yeah.
Still pending, I think, on Firefly, which I know would mean the world to Matt here to go hang out with Nathan Fillion.
Sure.
But we have the cast of Banshee, if you're familiar with that show, on Cinemax. Kevin Smith's going to be back on the program with our friends, the Comic Book Men.
Nice.
So
Awesome.
we've had them on the show in different factions, but to have them all together is going to be amazing. So we'll have that going on. The cast of the Nickelodeon version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which features Sean Astin.
Yep.
Ron
Paulson. No, not Ron Paulson. He played Pinky.
Paul R. Nelson.
Yeah, no, maybe it is Ron Paulson. He played Pinky, and he did
And
an
he
original
did Yakko.
Yeah, and he was originally Donatello, but now he's Leonardo. I
No,
think.
now he's Donatello.
Now he's Donatello.
He was
okay.
originally Raphael
Okay.
in the original animation,
Right.
from the late '80s. So we'll have them. We'll talk to everybody at Robot Chicken with Seth Green and those guys.
Because they're doing that Super Mansion show now, too, right?
I'm trying to see if we're going to get on that Super
Okay.
Mansion thing, because if that's the case, that's Bryan Cranston. So that would be awesome if we can get that.
Yeah,
What was he in
super cool.
recently?
He was in that video where he was at that electronic dance festival in Vegas where he was spinning.
That's right.
And then he was in that video from San Diego Comic-Con where he did a your mother joke to a
Oh,
guy
yeah.
and dropped the mic and the place went nuts. Pretty much Bryan Cranston has just been Bryan Cranston and awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
That's all he needs to be.
There's a new show called Neon Joe Werewolf Hunter for Adult Swim.
I have no idea what that is.
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen anything
We've been
about
invited
it.
to go hang out and talk to those people.
All right,
Let's
cool.
do it.
Figured check it out. And this is my favorite. We're going to be hanging with the Venture Brothers.
Nice.
The
Very
entire
cool.
cast.
Very
gonna
cool.
Be there.
Very,
They're doing a
very-
panel. We're going to get an exclusive with them. That'll be fun. And Ash vs. the Evil Dead.
Very
Yes.
excited about
Very
that.
Bruce
excited.
Campbell and our friend Lucy Lawless.
Very
and
cool.
all
Very
the rest.
cool.
So those are the ones that I know that we're getting to. There's still other ones that we're working on.
Nice.
So it's going to be a nice lineup for the Comic-Con show. Of course, we'll talk to Funko. We'll talk to some of the other fine toy stores that are out there.
Yeah. There's plenty of
on the
people to
floor.
talk to.
There is.
More than enough people to talk to.
I would push to try to get tickets, but they've been done for months.
Oh no, yeah, they're sold
There's
out.
no way you're getting in there.
Yeah.
Unless you want to buy them on the street for like 4 times the street value.
We put in for our stuff, I think, in February.
Yeah.
And we just got the passes.
Yeah.
And they forgot to mail mine, so I have to go there on Wednesday to pick up my pass. They're like, oh, we forgot to mail it, even though we said we mailed it to you. And I was like, all right, great. So I have to go there Wednesday and pick it up.
They don't even give me the option of mailing mine. They're just like, nope, you got to get here.
Oh, yes, you
Yeah.
got to do the same thing.
Show up
Lewis,
early.
did you get yours?
No, I haven't gotten mine yet. I've been checking, and I haven't gotten it.
All right, you better
Yeah,
call them.
email them because they'll get right back to you, and then because I emailed them, they're like, yeah, we mailed it out to you, and then they email me back like a day later. They're like, no, sorry, we didn't mail it out to you. You got to come and pick it up. So I would definitely do that.
Not a problem.
You might have to take a sick day from job one and come into the city early, go over with Gittles and get your pass, so we can get everybody in there.
Yeah, you figure it out. Go early on Thursday too. I
Yeah.
think.
Word. So New York Comicon, that is October 8th through the 12th in New York City at the Javits Center. The where was the panels? They're not at
Hammerstein
Hammerstein
Ballroom.
Ballroom, right? And I think I heard they were doing something at Hard Rock, but I didn't see anything confirmed.
I don't know yet.
I didn't
for
hear
sure.
anything about Hard Rock. I only heard Hammerstein.
Keep in mind the times of the convention, because Thursday is not a full day. I think it starts at 2 or 3 and then goes to 7. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are full days. So
When is the preview day Wednesday, or is
No.
that early in the day on Thursday?
no, preview day is sort of like Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah. I suspect within another year or two, they're going to have a Wednesday something, just because they keep on growing. Well, they don't even have a full Thursday yet. So I guess I'll go full Thursday first and then eventually get to Wednesday.
You never go full Thursday.
Never go full Thursday.
So, all right. So that's going to be pretty much our week next week, and then we'll get that whole show together and talk about the experiences and everything else that everybody, I'm sure, out there loves to hear about. Lisa, you missed the news. Lisa's opening for Patton Oswalt tomorrow.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank
That'll be
you.
lovely.
Where's it up? It's at Foxwoods?
Foxwoods in Connecticut. There's 2 shows. I think there's still some tickets left for the late show tomorrow. That's Saturday
they
night.
sold out the first show so fast they had to add a late show.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and there's only a few tickets left, so
Yeah.
go out there and go see Patton, go see Lisa, have a good time up at Foxwoods.
And it looks like the weather will work out in your favor, too, because I think Joaquin is staying far away, so we'll be all right.
Yeah.
Is that what's going on? I haven't looked at it in a while.
it's not going to hit landfall on the East Coast at all. I think we're going to get a little bit of rain tomorrow, maybe into the evening tomorrow, and then by Sunday they're saying sun.
And if you're
so.
listening to this on Saturday, ignore all this
Everything,
whole weather
yeah.
part here, because
Yeah.
it probably has changed and it's heading right for us.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm getting up early tomorrow to get on a Greyhound bus and head to Connecticut.
That'll be an experience.
I know, it'll be so fun.
How come they didn't send a car?
They said I could rent a car if I wanted to, but I didn't want to drive myself. So
So how come they didn't send a car?
send a car? I don't know. They don't send cars for opening acts.
That's it. Call it Patton.
That's
don't you
okay.
hitch-
I'm
why
happy
don't
to be on the show.
Why don't you hitch with Patton?
I think he's flying in from Los Angeles.
All right, have him stop, pick him up, and then helicopter over there.
Yeah. Just take the
It's fine. It's a little bit of a trek, but I just have to sit on a bus. No big deal. He is going to be in New York soon, also, and I'm going to open those shows as well.
Yeah, I think
Nice.
in November he's going to be in town.
Yeah.
I don't know if
think
it's part of the New York Comedy Festival.
The date's
but
a little up in the air because he had to change it around, I think, for a movie.
Right.
Yeah, that's to be announced for sure.
All right.
TBA, as they say in the biz.
Ooh, the
And
biz.
Eric, by the way, I have a present for you.
Ooh, I love presents.
I know you do, and you're so hard to buy for, and you probably have this already.
Oh,
but
no.
here, catch.
That's not a good way to start a present.
I know.
That's the
There's all
perfect way
kinds
to
of
start the present.
that
disclaimers.
is the way you start a present for Eric, because chances are he has
You
it.
set the
Yeah.
expectations low, and then if you hit a
Really
grand
low.
slam, it's...
You know what's sad? Because that's what I hear on Christmas when I open stuff from my mom. And she's like,
Well, honey.
chances are you already bought it for yourself.
Well, honey, I got you socks.
Let's see.
What is it?
Oh, no. Doctor Who? I don't have this.
Yay!
See? There you go. Home run.
All right. I got that in San Francisco in Chinatown.
It smells like you did.
It's very Chinese, right?
Was it fish sauce?
I was going to say, it sounds like
Smells like
General
the
Tso's.
wharf. No, that's great. Thank you.
All
really
right,
cool.
I did
It's a
it.
Dalek shirt, but it's like somebody threw paint on top of it and then it's spilling down.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a nice shirt. Yeah, very cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I was in Chinatown looking for Chinese stuff, you know. And
you do. Good spot.
Like you do. That's what you do, right? And this little store just had a whole bunch of Doctor Who shirts. So I was like, all right, let's do this. Boom.
Very
You
did
appropriate
it.
for the new season, too.
Tweet that
Yeah, I
out,
saw
man.
it.
You enjoying the new season?
I
Thank you so much.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate it.
I really liked the little that little 13-minute episode, and then the first full episode was great. About halfway through the second episode, I was like, "Oh my god, this is brilliant! I see where they're going." And then by the end of the episode, I'm like, "What the fuck is this nonsense?" So I'm like on the fence.
Well, let's see. What happened at the end of the episode? They were stealing his regeneration
Yes.
to implant into the Dalek
Yes,
race.
that's not the part that bothered me.
The part that he knew that's what it was going to be done.
No, I thought they were finally explaining why Jenna Coleman was a Dalek in her first episode, and then they take her out of the Dalek in the episode.
Oh,
and I was like,
right.
oh my god, this is great. It's going to tie it all in finally to her first appearance on the show when she's a Dalek.
You know what? For a second, I did wonder that, and then I forgot all about it.
Yeah,
I'm a horrible fan.
You are.
Thank you. I
No problem.
appreciate that. I'm turning your mic off.
I deserve it. I can eat cake now.
Yeah, go for the cake.
No, I think
Yeah.
so far it's only 2 episodes in. If you're listening to this on Saturday, there's a new episode tonight at 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. What is
9 p.m.,
right?
yeah.
9 p.m. on BBC America. And the Space Channel, if you're in Canada,
That's right.
you can check that out
The
there.
Space Channel?
Space Channel.
They just
Interesting.
announced that spin-off show now, too.
I
they
know.
have coming.
It's called Class.
Class,
So it's
yeah.
based on the school which is the first thing you see in the very first episode of Doctor Who way back in the long ago.
Right.
That's where his granddaughter was teaching, right?
Right. And Clara teaches
she was
there
a
now.
student there.
Yeah.
She was a student there. And he's had some other companions that worked at that school, and the current companion, Clara, works there as well. But it seems like it's going to be a mix between the other two spin-offs that they used to have, Sarah Jane Chronicles and Torchwood. So
Yeah,
it's
sort of.
It's sort of like a mix in between those two.
Yeah. But I was trying to read the press release. Is the Doctor actually not on the show, though? I'm confused. Because it doesn't say that he's not on it, but all it says is that Jenna Coleman hasn't confirmed that she'll have an appearance on it, but they don't say if he's going to be on it.
I don't know, because, they kept
sounds like it's
teasing
not
him on
about him.
Torchwood,
Yeah.
but he never was. You heard the sound, and then the person would run off, but you never saw him.
Yeah.
And I think he only did 1, maybe 2 appearances on Sarah Jane Chronicles.
So, I don't know.
So who knows? But that could go either way. It could be good that he's not there, but he's implied.
Sure.
Or it could be that if he is on there, it's kind of cool, but then people won't watch it unless he's making a guest appearance on it. So it can go either way with that.
Yeah, well, I guess I don't know when it's debuting, but we'll have to wait and see.
So is it a prequel or a spin-off?
It's a spin-off or a companion. Maybe is a better.
I think it's just. I don't know if it's anybody from the current show to be there. I think it's just focusing on the place.
Yeah, and
so is it like a Doctor Who school? Or
no, it's a school, but like
Time Lord, university.
Weird shit happens at the school, right? Involving aliens, probably, because Doctor Who, and how they resolve those things. But the press release was very kind of wishy-washy, timey-wimey, etc. Wibbly wobbly. Yeah.
Remember not to blink. So yeah, we look forward for that, and then so far I'm enjoying what's been going on with Doctor Who.
Sure.
We're going to get to Phil Rosenthal in just a few minutes here.
All right.
Anything else you wanted to touch on before we get Phil in?
I don't know. I mean, new TV started up, last week or 2 weeks back?
I think
I'm already
starting.
behind. I'm already behind. Yeah, it's about a week to 2 weeks. I'm already behind. I got to catch up on all the stuff that's on my DVR.
I watched Blind Spot, Minority Report, Scream Queens, and I watched the
Minority
new Shield.
Report.
I liked it, and I didn't think that I was going to, but it was okay. It was all right.
I liked it too. I saw the first episode while in San Diego,
right?
And exactly the same thing, because I'm thinking of the movie, which didn't really get much, praise, or it wasn't critically acclaimed, but I loved the movie just because of how hokey it was, and it was really the first example of all that touchscreen technology that has become part of everyday life now. That was like the first major place where you started to see this stuff, and I'm like, if they can do this for the movie, that means it's coming.
Right.
And it only took another 10 years, but then it showed up finally. Minority Report I thought was really good.
Yeah. Blind Spot was pretty good. That's the one with Jamie Alexander.
Right.
And Shield this week I thought was really good. So I'm
behind
pretty
on
excited
that.
for
I gotta
that
catch
too.
up.
And Scream Queens, if you're going to watch Scream Queens and you accept the fact that
Screen Cream.
I'm sure that's going to be the Pornhub spin-off of it.
That's it. If you go in knowing that it's like way over the top campy, like it's a cross between Scream and Army of Darkness as far as like camp goes.
Cool.
Like it's kind of silly in that regard. If you go in knowing that, then it's okay. It's not a bad watch.
A friend of mine said, I don't know if I like the show, but the trailers make me want to watch every next episode, so I'm watching it. I'm like,
There you go.
I don't know if that's selling me or not, but it's interesting.
I'd say check out the first episode. You get a pretty good sense of what the show is exactly in the first episode. So.
Okay. Has anyone seen the new Daily Show yet? I haven't seen it.
I haven't
either.
I haven't seen it.
I saw after the first night, I saw a lot of positive reviews online. But then when you talk to people, they were still kind of scratching their head, like, I don't know if I'm digging this.
Yeah, and he kind of. I've read some of the interviews with him, or some of the articles.
Everyone's going to be like, I don't know
it takes
if
a little while.
Yeah.
Well, he's kind of coming off as very pompous in a lot of his interviews, kind of very like full of himself, and I don't know that he's earned that kind of credibility with his audience yet.
I've also seen too that people aren't really comfortable with him taking a lot of shots at American life and American culture when he's not American himself. Like John Oliver kind of earned that right to do it, because people watch it, what he did on the Daily Show, and they're cool with it. But him coming in here and the first thing he's doing is just criticizing, the way of life. I saw a lot of people just weren't happy with that.
Yeah, I think he's going to have an uphill battle, that's for sure.
Well, he's got really big shoes to fill.
Yeah, well, clearly, yeah.
For sure.
The promo that was running on this channel, for The Daily Show was he said, a lot of the questions I keep getting asked, what do you think of America? When are you going to get a girlfriend? Are you going to ruin The Daily Show? And I just say, Google it, Mom, or something like that, which was kind of funny. But I don't know. I'm not racing to see it. I taped the first episode. I haven't taped other episodes, but
I'm going to try and check it out.
Here's
this
what's
weekend.
weird, though, because I have tickets to see The Daily Show on Wednesday.
So you have to go now.
Do you want to go?
Yeah, I want to go.
Okay.
Fuck yeah.
There
You
you
want to go?
Yeah, let's
Okay,
go.
that's
Nice.
three.
Sweet.
I have a fourth, so we'll find somebody else to fill
I can
that
find
ticket
someone
there.
to fill that ticket.
No, that's all right. I'll find
No.
somebody.
I'll come right over after I get my badges from Javits Center.
There you go.
There you go. Nice.
So yeah, we'll go see The Daily Show, and I think I have tickets at the end of the month for Stephen Colbert.
Oh, nice.
Well, if
Not
you
to
need
give
someone
away,
fill that
but
out.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go and see that. I believe Paul and Roland are going with me on that one.
Cool.
Colbert Show, I love. Have anybody
it's
watched
good.
it?
It's just like an extended version of Colbert Report. But I really enjoy it. It's pretty good. He's good guest. The little bit he did this week with Tom Hanks was pretty funny. I don't know if anyone saw that. It was the episode
not.
John Oliver was on. It was pretty good.
With Autumn Schenk.
No, not with Autumn Schenk.
Oh, okay.
These things are usually so easy.
Let's go
Simpsons
to
reference.
Chris in Albany wants to talk about Daily Show. Chris, what's up, man?
Yo, what's up, man?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. Am I live?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. I might be behind this because I can't hear myself.
All right, we'll turn the radio down and talk on the phone.
Oh, all right. I'm talking. I hear you. So,
Wow.
I don't like this new guy that replaced Jon Stewart.
Okay. Fair assumption. I mean, he's
I
new.
think Jon
Everyone doesn't
Stewart-
like everything that's new.
Jon Stewart should have took the 50 bill. The show was bad.
Should have taken
And
the
I'm
50
open-minded.
million?
Is that what he was offered to
Was
stay
he?
on the show?
Yeah.
I know that's what
he-
Dave
he-
Chappelle was offered.
That's what Jon Stewart was offered too.
And he turned that down? Good for him.
Well, you know what he's doing now?
Good for
He's
him.
the executive
What
producer.
is he doing now?
He's the executive producer of Stephen Colbert and The Late Show.
There you go. So,
Plus, he's now a regular, some kind of host or something for WWE.
yeah, I
So
saw
they're
that.
going to bring him
Wow.
out for special events. Yeah, he signed a deal with them.
No.
What do you mean, no?
I see.
Is that
Deal with
Emilio?
John Cena.
Yeah.
It is.
I see lots of thumbs downs in there.
Emilio, no. Don't put him on that, Mike. Come in here.
All right, here we go.
This is Emilio. He used to intern for us back at the XM days. He might have
Okay.
been there with K when we were doing CBS, but he works over at Shave 45. I told him he could come over and hang out and stuff.
wait.
Oh, shut up. I'm done with you.
That guy was 10 seconds behind the conversation. That was great.
Emilio. So, what's wrong with Daily Show?
No, not the Daily Show. It's just Jon Stewart being the heel in WWE.
Emilio's
It's
a big WWE fan.
fucking atrocious. It's just terrible. He comes in at SummerSlam and he doesn't know who to hit with the chair. It's either the protagonist, which is like, you know, the good guy, which is John Cena, or it's the antagonist, which is Seth Rollins. And this really hard buildup was like, I hate Seth Rollins. He's a baddie, and Rollins would interfere on the Daily Show. And then all of a sudden at SummerSlam, he hits John Cena in the head with the chair, and the place erupts.
Cena.
And they're loving him, and then the next Monday on Raw they're booing him. It's just like, it was terrible. It's like, what do you do with that?
Hold on. Let me just point out, for anybody that thinks all geeks and nerds are the same,
Yeah.
a wrestling guy just came in here and dumbfounded a bunch of us.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm very confused right now.
But if we came into his world and stuff like that, and they'd be like, what the
I mean,
fucking
Blink's
Shield,
one of my
whatever.
favorite episodes of Doctor Who.
All right.
So there you go.
Fuck, he's got credibility.
We,
All right.
me and you were actually at the Raw.
Yes.
That Seth Rollins took over that Daily Show thing
Yeah.
that they did at Raw. We were there
Yeah.
that night.
See, if he wants to be a really bad guy to meet Jon Stewart, then he should have been from Big Daddy on, because he didn't pay child support for Frankenstein. So it's kind of like, you know what I mean?
So there you go.
There you go.
I Jon Stewart, he's kind of a legend. I think he kind of gets to do what he wants now.
It does. He hosted one of the most popular shows of all time,
Sure.
the most award-winning show, I think, television show of all time, for what they do for the variety series.
Possibly even like one of the more important shows of the last 20 years.
I was
too.
going to say, he really redefined a news program.
He got people interested in politics who were not involved
just
in politics.
a news program, but like a generation of people were watching The Daily Show for their
the
news
news.
updates,
Sure.
even though it was all parody and satire. We're getting the legitimate news stories from him rather than watching 11 o'clock or the major network stuff.
No fluff pieces.
Yeah.
I think everybody our age would rather watch The Daily Show over anything Fox News or CNN or MSNBC
yeah.
would do.
Oh, absolutely.
In a heartbeat. That's why it had such great followers.
Even though that has its own comedic value as well, if you watch Fox News to do with it itself.
That's like train wreck comedy, though. It's different.
You better be careful. They'll be waiting outside. They're right across the street, Emilio. They're listening at all times. That's just what they do. No, but the Daily Show and the Colbert Report were just like the 1-2 punch. Like, this is what I'm going to bed to.
Sure.
You just throw that on. You didn't care about the legit news of people, dying somewhere or some horrific, tragic event in the world. You wanted to see their interpretation of what it was through Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert. But give Colbert Report, give The Late Show. This is funny how he says it. He calls it "Welcome to the Late Show with" starring Stephen Colbert.
I loved how in the first episode he was doing his own announcing, and then the camera panned over to him, and he just like throws the microphone down.
So he's his own announcer now, and the intro for the show is amazing. It's great. It's that new.
It's that tilt shift photography, so it makes everything like Lego pieces. Like everyone looks like they're scurrying about like ant people. It's great.
Yeah, remember how Mr. Rogers, right, going back where they would pan over the land and make believe like that. And it was always from a real high up because it was a model. That's exactly what they're doing with Stephen Colbert. But the fun part about this is he's in almost every shot. It's like Where's Waldo in every transition of the intro. So you're trying to find him in every scene. There's one scene where they're just showing two buildings here and looking down towards a park. And he lobs a basketball like really far over to this other building that's a little bit lower. And the band leader, jumps up and slams the thing. And you just see Colbert throw his arms back like that as it cuts away. It's really ridiculous. But I can't wait to go down and see the show.
Yeah,
I'm sure it'll be live. The theater looks amazing. They opened up a lot that was being blocked from when Letterman was there. They ripped out all this old air conditioning, the protective whatever garb that was on some of the stained glass and the architecture that looked almost like Greek. The columns and things in there. They open it all up, and when they do a wide shot from the corner of the stage to show the audience, that place looks bigger than it ever did.
Yeah, like the opening shot when it comes in from like that downward angle, it's a really big set. It's gigantic.
I thought the Ed Sullivan Theater was relatively small too.
Yeah, because you didn't know with Letterman set. Did you ever go see a Letterman show?
No, I never had the privilege.
Anybody here ever go see Letterman? You have?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you go in there, it's not because he pushes everything to like the desk and everything is so far back on the stage so that you don't think there's much to the stage because where the cameras are moving in and out, and Dave's back here, the stage is back here, and where they walk out. So there's not much room unless they have the band. Then they show all the stage. Stephen Colbert reversed it and put everything up front so that he can be right there in the audience, see the audience. It's not completely black when he's doing his stuff. He has it kind of light so you can see the reaction. So he's doing it like a stand-up comic. The way he does his monologue and the way he does his bits from the desk, so he can see everybody's reaction and gauge where he's going from there.
I'm sure. Well, that was kind of closer. That's how the Colbert Report set was, wasn't it? It was much more illuminated, and he was able to kind of interact with the audience.
It was very well lit.
Yeah, so he's taking what he worked there and what he was comfortable with there, and he's translating it over. And of course, that makes sense. I mean, it makes his transition that much easier for him.
And right after because he does not a cold open, but sort of a short open. Comes out, does his monologue and stuff, does a joke before going to the actual official intro. When he comes back, you see him always, like Brian said, throwing the microphone under his desk so you don't know it's him being the announcer. And then between that and his first guest, it's back to being sort of the Colbert Report, where he's doing politics and analytical stuff and whatever. And he gave you what you want. He did what he wanted to do, but he also gave you what you wanted to make the transition a lot easier.
And he's not like doing it as the Colbert personality. Like he's just doing it as Stephen Colbert doing it. So it's a little different, but I like it.
So the character of from the Colbert Report is not there anymore.
Yeah, it's not there anymore.
No.
It's still him, and he's still doing like the same kind of thing, but it's just without that like edge to it.
Right,
you know
that
what I mean?
bravado.
Yeah, it's just without that.
It's a different interpretation of the man who played Stephen Colbert from the Colbert Report.
All right. Fair enough.
There we go. Fair enough indeed. Let's go to Matt in PA. He wants to talk to Lisa for a moment. Matt?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, how are you, man?
Hey, Matt.
Doing great. Hey, Lisa. How are you?
Good. How are you, buddy?
Doing great. Great. Just calling to congratulate you on the big show tomorrow night. I wish I could be there.
Thank you.
It's going to be awesome.
Okay.
Should we say that you're my cousin?
I'm like, you guys are very familiar, so something's going on.
I thought he was. I
Unless
thought he was
this is
stalking
another
her.
Matt. I was
Yeah.
like, hey, Matt, call into the show today.
We probably should take a break. Lewis, you know what? We'll move Phil down because I didn't realize how late we went here. We got Bob Gale calling in around 7 o'clock. So let's take a break, Lewis. We'll double up on that, and then when we come
Bye,
back,
Matt.
Bob Gale. No, he's already gone. Bob Gale from Back to the Future fame. We'll talk to him about the 30th anniversary of possibly one of the greatest movie franchises that ever existed.
Nice.
All right? Be right back. Welcome back to the program. My name is Erik Nagel. The phone number is 866-969-1969 if you want to get in touch with us here. Matt OG, Gittles, Lisa Correro, and our friend Emilio is hanging out with us here tonight. And we have a guest on the phone who I'm very excited about, if I can remember which mouse answers the phone, and that would be this one right here. Ladies and gentlemen, please say hello to the one and only Bob Gale.
Hi there, Erik. How are you?
Sir, it's an honor to talk to you. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you very much.
We're all huge Back to the Future fans here, but I'm sure you hear that all the time.
Should be.
So let's tell everybody the exciting news here and why you're calling.
Well, what's happening in New York City on October 15th and October 16th is Back to the Future in concert at Radio City Music Hall. And this is a totally awesome event in which the movie is projected, but the score is played by a live orchestra while you're sitting there.
That is so cool.
It is so cool. We did this at the Hollywood Bowl at the end of June. We had 16,300 people there, and it was totally awesome.
So we're going to break that record at Radio City, right?
Well, you know what? I'm not up on the current seating capacity of Radio City over 2 nights, but maybe so, or maybe they'll just pack them in the aisles.
No, screw that. Screw the Hollywood Bowl. We're going to do this thing.
Okay, we got also Christopher Lloyd is going to be attending.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
So cool.
As well as James Tolkien, Mr. Strickland,
Yeah.
Slacker, and of course the one and only composer himself, Alan Silvestri.
Wow. So will they be there just for the event, or are they going on stage and
I think we're all going on stage to introduce the movie and
Okay.
Wave to the audience and let everybody know that for whatever they paid for their ticket, they actually got to see some celebrities.
That's good. Will you be roaming the floor so everybody can come over and say hi and
I'll
thank
be
you for this
around.
masterpiece?
I think you can get VIP tickets for a sort of meet and greet thing, and I'll probably be around afterwards to say hello, shake hands, take pictures, and so forth. Depending on what the security arrangements are.
Right.
And also, you should know that Alan has written some additional music for this presentation.
Oh, wow.
Because everybody's there to hear music, so there is score in some sections of the movie that there is not score if you saw it in the theater or watch your Blu-rays or DVDs. So that's very cool.
That's awesome.
And the movie looks beautiful. It's a digital transfer DCP projection, and I got to tell you, when we went at the Hollywood Bowl, my wife turned to me and said, this is like watching the movie for the very first time. And several other people that were there came up to me afterwards and said the same thing, because the excitement of the crowd, coupled with how great orchestral music sounds when it's played live, it's a fantastic experience. And if you haven't ever seen Back to the Future in an audience, this is the best kind of audience to see it with.
Are you amazed when people say that they haven't seen the movie at all? And I'm not saying like kids 15 and under, but when you see grown adults and they're like, I've never seen Back to the Future, does that like dumbfound you?
Well, if they're missing teeth, no, it doesn't. But if they do have the full set of teeth, yeah, it does.
I don't know how you could not have seen it in some capacity. I feel like growing up, it was on all the time on like cable and on network. And even now today, you still run into it.
It was on
once in a
HBO
while.
all the time.
It was actually on last night. I was watching it.
It seems to be on somewhere, sometime. Yeah, it's absolutely. Listen, 30 years ago, the movie came out originally in July 1985. And 30 years ago, if somebody had traveled back to 1985 from 2015 and said to me, "Hey, Bob, you know where you're gonna be on October 15th? You know what's going on in New York City, the Radio City Music Hall?" And they told me about this, I'd say, "Man, what are you drinking? And try that one, please."
Are you tired of I mean, because it's so ingrained, at least in American culture, and I'm sure worldwide, but do you ever get tired of having to talk about Back to the Future? Because I know you've had other stuff, but it's just like everybody always jumps to that
It's
one
a cultural
piece.
phenomenon.
You know what? No, I do not. It's flattering. It's wonderful. I mean, this is what every filmmaker dreams of, having a movie that is beloved as Back to the Future is. I was actually talking to Bob Zemeckis about this recently, because he's out there doing publicity for his great new movie, The Walk, and he just said, they asked me about The Walk, but then everybody wants to ask me about Back to the Future, and he at first he seemed a little irritated by it. I say, well, you know what, Bob, all those people were kids when the movie came out, and this was probably one of their very favorite movies. And he took a moment and he said, yeah, you know what, I remember when I met Hitchcock, and all I wanted to do was talk to him about Rear Window and Psycho. So it's great. All I can say is, hey, thank you.
I'm curious to know, do you have any involvement in the, for those of you who don't know, there was just a new Blu-ray anniversary edition that's coming out later this year, and there's a new short starring Christopher Lloyd that's part of the Blu-ray as Doc Brown. Did you have any involvement in that short?
Yeah, well, I'm sort of the gatekeeper of Back to the Future content. So although I didn't write it or direct it, they did make sure that I signed off on the script, and when they shot it, I went, because who doesn't want to see Christopher Lloyd playing Doc Brown again? It's great. It's a lot of fun. And also on that Blu-ray is a new documentary about the restoration of the DeLorean, the original A-car DeLorean that we used in all three movies.
Oh wow!
Had been left kind of to just rot on the back lot at Universal.
That's what happened to Stargate. They left it out in the desert there, and then when they went to go back to do the series, the whole thing was just a mess.
Yeah, well, this is a common thing, because the studios and the movie companies don't understand how important this stuff is to the fans and to culture in general. So luckily, I stepped in and said to Universal, hey, we got to do something about this, and if you're not interested in doing something about it, I'll find somebody who is. And they said, no, you're right, we should do this. And so there's this new documentary documents how this was done, and the restoration was done by the fans, which is so cool, because nobody cares more about these great old movies than the fans. More so, I think, even than the studios, because those guys they're just paid to do their job. But our fans love whatever it is, whether it's Back to the Future, whether it's Star Wars or Godfather. You pick it. The Wizard of Oz. I mean, if somebody told me, hey, you want to polish some of the bricks on the yellow brick road, I'd say sure. I'll spend an afternoon doing that. What the hell?
So, as the gatekeeper to all things Back to the Future, and
who's the key master?
I know you've talked about it in the past, that Back to the Future, there's not going to be a fourth one, which is awesome. I don't want a fourth one, to be quite honest with you.
Good, thank you.
And hopefully there's not going to be a reboot or reimagination of it, because really Back to the Future is perfect the way it is.
Thank you.
It should be cherished the way that it is, and it should just stay that way. It shouldn't be touched by anybody else. I mean, clearly Christopher Lloyd coming back to do a Doc Brown short,
That's great.
The hair on my arm stood up just from the teaser, and I was really excited, but I'll make an exception for that. But other than that, I think it just needs to be the way it is.
Well, Bob Zemeckis and I totally agree with you. That's why we've taken drawn a line in the sand and say, hey, this is not, we're not going there. We're not doing what everybody else wants to do. And they say, well, you guys can make a whole lot of money. And we say, well, we've made a lot of money. We don't need to, we don't need to sell out our children for this. It's just.
Do you still get approached about it?
You know what? I have not been approached about it in a really long time because, as I say, I think Bob and I have put that message out there, and everybody's heard it loud and clear. And like you guys, the overwhelming majority of people are saying, "Hey, that's great. They should leave that alone. Let's not touch it." I mean, we've all seen these franchises where they go back to the well one too many times.
Yeah, the remakes are horrible.
And you're a sucker because you say, "Well, I got to see that because it's such and such." And even though you go and you know before you even buy your ticket it's going to be crap, but you still go. I mean, it's an interesting phenomenon, isn't it?
What do you do if you get that phone call one day and they say, "Look, the studio's looking to reboot Back to the Future"? I think that's when I just start losing my shit.
We're going to make the DeLorean a Fiat.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah. Well, if that happens, so the rumors are hilarious. There was one going around a couple years ago that Justin Bieber was going to play Marty McFly.
Oh, God. What was he going to be, a douchey Marty McFly?
That's horrible.
Or maybe they'll. Well, I'll tell you one thing that they can't do. They can't do the gay and lesbian version of it because Marty would definitely not be born, right?
But, I was even thinking about this the other day. I don't think that Back to the Future would work as a reboot. Like, that whole concept of what the future is now, as opposed to, like, when Back to the Future 2 came out, right? You were really excited about the future that they were presenting to you. But the way technology is evolving now, like, I kind of feel like that concept of what the future is in our face all of the time. How would a new Back to the Future make that special? Well, I don't know that it could.
And the other thing that's interesting, because again, Bob and I were talking about this too. The difference in the fashion in the clothes that people wore between 1955 and 1985 was, really, really powerful. But if you take somebody dressed in 1985 clothes and have them walking around the streets of New York City, nobody's going to look twice at them.
It's called Brooklyn.
Yeah, that's where I live.
An H&M near you. Kanye West's new line.
Well, with going, like you said earlier about if you went, from 2015 back to 85 and tell them what was going on and everything, they're coming out with stuff from the movie that you didn't think they ever would. Was it last year or the year before? Was the big to do over the Nike Air sneakers from Marty McFly in the future? Those came out. Now the hoverboard toy they put out there, and they're trying to make the real hoverboard now.
That's right. Finally. Yeah, and we have drones. There's a USA Today gag.
Right.
Where the drone, and we've got drones.
And maybe
now.
Miami will win a World Series. We don't know.
Well, the Cubs might. I was actually just down. The folks from Miami had me down for Back to the Future night at Marlins Stadium exactly 1 week ago because when we predicted that there would be Major League Baseball in Miami, it didn't exist. So. We picked the wrong league, but we got the city right and the concept right.
Screw Nostradamus. Bob Gale is the prophet.
Yeah. He really is.
He's batting almost 1,000 here.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
With the Nike auto laces, with the Air McFlies, you created such a stir within the sneaker community that people are paying upwards to $7,000 for this shoe.
That's their own fault.
Well, that was a charity thing.
Yeah.
But Nike does not have the self-lacing shoes on the market now.
No, they don't.
The ones that do, and you guys saw the article earlier this week about the marathon runner in Kenya, and where his custom-made Nike shoes, the insoles fell out of them or something.
Right.
Wow, they can't make a shoe that the soles stay in. That's kind of whoa.
You know what? I was just thinking too, for the live event, it's probably too late to get this done. But if you could make playbills for this event that looked like Gray's Sports Almanac, and you gave them out to everybody, I think that would be a real collector's item.
I'll suggest that. I don't know if they can turn it around that quickly.
Let me just translate what Bob's saying here, and he goes, "That's the 1,000th time I've heard that, you idiot."
But could old Biff hand them out, though, as people are walking in?
Well, save the clock tower flyers. That's pretty easy to do.
Yeah. There you go. That's cost affordable.
Well, that thing burnt down a few years ago, right? Didn't the set actually get destroyed?
Yeah. Part of the two sides of that street got burned to the ground. and they rebuilt it and reconfigured it. So it's a little bit different than it was. And people have asked me, "Well, are you sad about that?" But I'm not actually, because it means that
there's no fourth movie.
Where that's in Back to the Future is forever that version.
Right. Well, as Matt had said, he's glad that they're not going to make a fourth movie, and we hope they don't reboot this film anywhere at any time. But let me ask you about some of the side projects that they've been doing with the Back to the Future franchise, as far as the figures that Funko has put out, and of course, Back to the Future's involvement in the new Lego Dimensions that just came out.
Yeah, isn't that cool? Have you seen that yet?
Yes, I got a chance to play it. It's amazing.
It's great. And then the Doc Brown levels are coming out, I think, in February. You can get the Marty McFly add-on pack now. But the idea that you can have Marty McFly interacting with Batman and Homer Simpson, it's totally great.
So when they approached you with this kind of thing here, did you get a little standoffish? Are you a little bit overprotective about your franchise?
No, because when they on that one, that was an easy yes. Because you guys saw the Lego movie, right?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what's great about that is that it totally captures the way kids play with their toys.
It does.
Kids, adults.
Eric.
Me.
You put those sex dolls in there with the, with the G.I. Joe, right?
Jesus, Bob.
Wow. That took a turn.
Wow, Back to the Future 4 would be completely different.
We're going to reenact that car scene.
The doors go up.
So anyway, yeah. So they said, "This is what we want to do." I said, "Oh, okay, I get that. Sure, let's do that. Let's have Doc Brown on the Yellow Brick Road. What the hell?"
Yeah, I mean, I got the chance to play it. It's obviously out now, so everyone can pick it up. And like you said, the Doc Brown stuff is coming as an add-on very soon. It's definitely fun. Now, you have these things. You have Funko figures out. There's constant T-shirts ever since that movie came out. This franchise has just not gone away as far as posters and T-shirts and things like that.
There's also a new book coming out on October 20th called Back to the Future, The Ultimate Visual History. It's a big coffee table book. It's absolutely gorgeous. If you don't know what to get somebody for Christmas, get them this book, because it has more information about Back to the Future than has ever been in one place before, and it has all these little additional props that are that you can pull out of the book. So there's a lenticular photo of the disappearing photo, where you got Marty and his brother and sister that disappear.
That's pretty cool.
And you have like replicas of the Jaws 19 poster, and Doc's flux capacitor drawings, and the letter that Marty writes to Doc Brown, and the Western Union letter that Doc writes to Marty, and all that stuff are inserts in the book. So go check it out on Amazon and get one, because it's. I think Amazon's selling it for only $30 right now. It's a bargain. It's really great. Then we got a new comic book coming out on October 20th that is going to explore some of the sort of untold tales of Back to the Future. So for the fans that want to know, well, how did Marty and Doc actually meet? We tell that story in the first issue.
Oh, I thought it was Tinder, but all right.
Grinder.
No, you guys are. We have to go back to 1982.
This family franchise.
I have a question. Have you seen Rick and Morty by any chance?
Of course.
What do you think about it?
I think it's funny.
Hey, this seems familiar.
Yeah, it is. But imitation. Greatest form of flattery.
Did Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon reach out to any of you guys and say, "Hey, look, we're doing this thing. It might look like what you did"?
Back to the Future fan.
Yeah.
And he's not a big fan of the sequels for some reason, but he loves the original, and he's got a really warped mind.
I got to tell you, talking about the reboot was disturbing when you mentioned Justin Bieber, because as the woman here, Marty McFly was my biggest crush as a kid, and I can't imagine Justin Bieber.
We're not going to let that happen.
Then please don't let that happen.
She used to pause with the VHS line when he was laying in his Calvin Kleins on the bed.
Yeah, you don't even want to know. That's my biggest crush. I mean, Alex P. Keaton was okay, but once Michael J. Fox was Marty McFly, that
It was all
it.
over, yeah.
Oh, my God.
I actually got a question that I have to ask.
Go ahead.
Who does time travel better, Doc Brown or Doctor Who?
Well, this is a no-brainer, guys.
Well, because
what's cooler, a DeLorean or a phone booth?
I like the phone booth.
Well, hold
and
on,
the
sir.
DeLorean.
It's not a phone booth. It's a police box.
Yeah. I think Doc Brown is a Time Lord.
Phone
Let's
booth
leave it
is
at
Bill
that.
and Ted.
Right. And if you saw the epic rap battles of history battle between Doc Brown and Doctor Who, it's left for you to decide.
Yeah.
There is no clear winner.
Well, I was waiting for Bugs Bunny to show up and say, "What's up, Doc?"
So who's going to be playing the epic guitar solo live during the performance?
Well, that will be left to who was it? It was it's the movie. It's only the score.
Dave Grohl.
It's not.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember who actually played the. Paul Hansford, I think, actually played the guitar solo in the movie.
Let me ask you then, with the guitar solo and what have you, what did Chuck Berry say about using his song in that way in the movie?
Well, he laughed. I mean, we had to make a deal with him.
Of course.
If he didn't,
He's notorious for being paid.
If he didn't think it was funny, he would say, "Get the hell out of here, guys." But he thought it was funny, at least when with the check accompany it, he thought it was funny.
Well, it's always funnier with the check accompanied.
We're talking with Bob Gale, the producer and co-writer of Back to the Future, not only one of the best movies, but one of the best franchises that's ever been made. When you were writing this movie, did you insert any parts of your life into any of the characters there? Like, did you grow up? Did somebody call you chicken? Because that seems to be a big sore spot in this movie.
Did you peeping Tom on a tree?
What planet does an American boy have to be on where nobody ever calls him chicken and he isn't interested in looking at a girl with no clothes on?
I don't know why Emilio threw that part in, because everybody wants to do that. But the chicken part, I was just wondering if that was that something that came from your own life experience?
No. I mean, it wasn't. Look, everybody gets called chicken. I was not tormented by bullies, nor was Bob Zemeckis. That was just, everybody has their run-in with a bully, but it wasn't a constant source of anything. There was my next door neighbor when I was a little kid was a professional photographer, and he had a dark room in his basement, and he would invite the kids in the neighborhood over to see how film was developed, and he was kind of a Doc Brown inspiration, I guess. The idea that here's this guy that's got all this cool equipment in his house, and he can make magic happen. So that was probably part of my sensibility in that. And I put all kinds of little references to my high school and stuff that only other kids that went to my high school back then would get. But that was always fun when I'd hear from them. I saw your movie, Gale, and when the guy says, "Let me give you a nickel's worth of free advice," when Strickland says that, I fell out of my chair, because that was our vice principal used to say that to everybody he nailed in the hallway for being tardy.
All right, because my other question was going to be, did you ever, go out and party too much and then break into a house that you thought was yours, but it wasn't, and somebody came running after you with a bat?
No, that's an experience I have not had.
The big live event for Back to the Future in concert at Radio City Music Hall is October 15th and 16th. Go online to get tickets. We put the link up on It's Erik Nagel on Twitter, so you can just click there and buy your tickets. Go and see this. You get to watch the movie. Christopher Lloyd's going to be there. Who else is going to be there? I'm sorry?
James Tolkien, Mr. Strickland, Alan Silvestri, the composer, and yours truly.
Mr. Bob Gale will be there. Go get tickets. Check this out. It's a once-in-a-lifetime event until, I guess, the 40th or the 50th.
They're doing it tonight.
I'm saying in New York. So go get tickets for that. Before we go, Bob, I got to ask you a question. This is coming in from our friend Mike from Masters of None. If you'll entertain some Back to the Future nerdiness, as if you haven't already. He has a question. Were there two DeLoreans in September 1885, the one that Marty ripped the fuel line off and the one that Doc just buried 8 months prior in January of 1885? And couldn't they have just simply patched the fuel line and siphoned the gas from the other one to the one that wasn't working?
That's a genius question.
This is not the first time that I've heard this question before.
Okay.
And there are two very good answers for this that both are applicable here. Number one, if you're a car guy and you know that you're going to store your car, put your car in storage for a year or more, or in this case 70 years, the first thing, well, it may not be the first thing you do, but you are going to drain all the fluids out of your car.
That's right.
Okay.
So Doc would have put it in the mine without any gas, without any oil, and if you rewatch part 3 at the drive-in movie theater, Doc tells Marty, now I've put gas in the car. He specifically says that, suggesting that there wasn't any when they pulled the car out. So that's number one. Number two is the time travel conundrum, which is if they were to go and disturb the car that Doc had already sealed up there, and which years later Marty gets out of there, and they break something on it, would that not create some sort of a time paradox that could screw up the space-time continuum? And Doc Brown is too responsible of a physicist to consider doing something like that.
I honestly thought you were going to go the William Shatner route and say, number two, it's a movie, don't worry about it.
Well,
I like that there are two plausible.
3, but, I'll let William Shatner be William Shatner, and we'll let Bob Gale be Bob Gale.
Once again, the big Back to the Future live concert at Radio City Music Hall, October 15th and 16th. The link is up on It's Erik Nagel on Twitter there for you to buy tickets. Go check this out. It's going to be a great time. We're going to go. Mr. Gale is going to be there, and hopefully maybe I get to meet you in person, sir.
I hope so, yeah. You guys come up to me and, put a pie in my face or something.
I will come meet you, or security will throw me out trying. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome. I appreciate your time.
All right, take care. We'll see you next in 2 weeks.
Exactly.
All right, take care, man.
Okay.
Bye.
Be continued.
Nice. He continued. Nice.
Clever. He didn't say to be concluded. So that means there's more times with Bob Gale.
I like to put the emphasis on the ripping of the space-time continuum. So let us be responsible with that.
So we didn't just destroy all of time in existence.
Yeah.
That was very nice of him.
Once again, it's a movie.
You know what I just found out, too? James Tolkien's still alive, too. He's one of my favorite actors. He was in one of my favorite movies.
Back to the Future.
No, he was in Masters of the Universe. He starred as the cop Lubick.
Oh, my God, you're right. That awful movie.
That movie is terrible.
It is so good that it's so bad.
Well, exactly, but it's a bad movie.
Dolph Lundgren as He-Man makes sense.
No,
Franklin Jella as Skeletor
all makes sense.
makes sense.
No, there was people in the movie that weren't in the toy line or in the cartoon.
Courtney Cox.
No, the little midget thing.
No, Gwildor was supposed to be the Orko, because I guess they can't make a floating thing.
I don't think anybody in North America is listening to this now. We've just gone so far down.
I'm sure there's some Canadians listening.
And it's not me that did it. I want to point that out.
It's Emilio.
I have Gwildor toys, too, so suck it!
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Elizabeth Rodriguez from Fear the Walking Dead, which is an awesome show. The finale
this Sunday
is this Sunday at 9 p.m., I want to say, on
that
AMC.
Is correct.
And you should check it out. All the others are on demand. And then in
the week after,
no time at all, we're going to be back to Walking Dead for the brand new season.
Yay.
So we can get into all of that stuff. Plus, she's in Orange is the New Black on Netflix. You should definitely check that out as well. Lisa, do you have anything you want to plug before we go to break?
I'm at QED on Monday at a show called Cartoon Dump by Frank Conniff from Mystery Science Theater. It's a pretty awesome show.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have him on too.
Oh, you totally should.
Oh yeah.
Okay, let's get
awesome.
that. Let's get that in the works in the next few weeks.
Make that happen.
Anything else we got to plug before break?
No.
Nothing. Emilio, why don't you give out your Twitter and get some followers?
Oh, please, I need those. At Emilio Sparks, EMILIOSPARKS.
Okay.
Sparks.
There you go.
Thank you, sir.
When we come back, Elizabeth Rodriguez will be here. Hang on.
It's Erik Nagel. Erik Nagel.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome to the show right now. You know her from shows like Orange is the New Black and, of course, Fear the Walking Dead, Sunday nights, 9 p.m. on AMC. Elizabeth Rodriguez. How are you?
Hello, I'm well, thank you.
How's everything?
Things are kind of great right now.
I would say so.
Yeah.
You're on 2 successful television shows. Not that you've haven't been on successul shows before.
I know, but
going through your rundown, you've been on almost everything.
I know. I was just joking about clearly I'm affordable. But I'm great. I'm on 2 successful shows that are completely different genres, playing completely different characters, and they happen to cross audiences. I found out while I was at Comicon.
Oh, I thought you were
which shocked me.
I thought you were going to say they were going to cross over like the zombies.
No, but I was shocked when I showed up to Comicon and I came out and people were like, I was like, oh, do you guys watch Orange? It's just weird that I would think they would be different. Like people can't have more than one taste. I don't know. I'm a little naive.
Let's start with Comicon since you just brought it up here. I was out there for San Diego and big response to Fear the Walking Dead, only because everybody knew it was in Los Angeles, and they knew it was supposed to be sort of along the same timeline as Walking Dead, but as we see that it's really more of a prequel without the 2 connecting, at least for right now. And right outside the actual convention across the street, they had this little setup with a sign that said Los Angeles.
I know.
And for most of the first day, it did nothing. Like there was a chain link fence around its stairs, and it just looked like an alleyway in Los Angeles, and nothing happened. So people were like, I don't know what this is. And then when they realized, oh, it's Fear the Walking Dead or whatever, they're just taking photos. And then I saw later on that first day, they didn't tell people what they were going to do. So people are on the steps taking photos, and all of a sudden, the walkers just come out and scare the shit out of everybody, and there's people screaming,
That's awesome!
running. Yeah.
I didn't know that. Well done, guys.
So, what was your con experience like? Was that your first con?
It was my first con. It was really intense only because we were shooting the night before really late. And so like, the amount of hours I got to sleep was never enough.
Right.
As a woman, you need at least 2 more hours on both ends, either side, just to sort of wake up and try to look pretty. So it made me a little more jealous about the guys. Everyone was really great. It just was like this thing that was, you can't prepare yourself. You're going from here to there. You don't even know. You're like, where are we going? What are we doing? Where are we going? What are you doing? Snacks, food. Where are you going? What are you doing? Pretty. Touch up. And you can't ever, you don't even know by the end of it who you saw, who you didn't, who took pictures with you. If you're lucky, you have 2 seconds as you cross somebody else's itinerary to say hello if you even see anyone.
It's great that within Comic-Con, it's the only time where it's really acceptable to have people that will shove massive amounts of people out of the way so that talent can walk through, and everyone's cool with it.
Yeah.
Like if you have handlers or something, they're just pushing kids in Batman costumes.
The greatest also there was a time where like it took so much time to get in your cars and get around that one time we had to go like a couple blocks away, and like there was an executive decision made that these guys, AMC PR guys, went out and bought flip-flops. Full on, because no one recognized us. We literally put on like flats, carried our shoes, and walked 2 blocks to do another interview because it was the best decision and the quickest way to get 2 blocks away.
Right.
But the first time you could actually escape before you get too
popular. They all determined, we can. No one's gonna really recognize us right now. And also the fans, I think they're such huge fans of The Walking Dead that they just, with only seeing that clip, they gave us so much love, which speaks volumes for like that show and the fan base.
Did you notice with Fear the Walking Dead when it came out, with everything in the internet, people are going to complain about something. So the first 2 episodes, a lot of the discussion online was, this is too slow, it's taking forever, what's going on? But then that 3rd episode hit and it goes completely a 180.
Right.
And now you're just speeding down through the course of the show. I'm like, oh my God, I should have just kept my mouth shut.
Right.
This is really going somewhere.
I don't read, I don't go online, to read reviews, good or bad, even when I do plays, because I feel like if I give attention to the good ones, then that means I have to give attention to the bad ones. And so I don't, but speaking of that, I think it's inevitable. It's such an enormous fan base that there absolutely are going to be people you're not going to make happy. You're going to end up with new fans. I've heard I've, from all sorts of experiences, other actors on the show, people here, people in my life that either watched the regular show or never watched it and are watching it for different reasons that really like it for itself. So you're going to absolutely lose some fans that want that. But you're going to gain other fans, and I think it's its own thing, and it's not competing. So, you can't do anything about, people's opinions as to it's moving slow. I love character-based things that move slow, but that isn't one of our taglines. When civilization ends, it ends quick. So it's about to go down.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of like the original Walking Dead and the graphic novels, and I love Fear the Walking Dead. I like the pace that it's taking because I felt like I was worried actually the opposite, that it was gonna rush right into it and we weren't gonna see society crumble. We weren't gonna see all of that. And I think it's pretty cool. And I think even in the last episode from this past week when you're seeing everything starting to be vacant, like what was that like shooting in LA? Did you have to like clear people out or do things early in the morning, or was it like some CGI type effects to make everything look so empty?
It's everything. We were in a neighborhood that I think we like, you pay the whole block to go to a hotel while you sort of use just the outside of the houses. I think some of it was CGI. I think like when you see all the empty, like in the back, I don't know how they did that. I was like, ooh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Like when all the lights got turned off, and that's episode before when we're driving in the truck,
and
like
you
see it start
sections just
that's CGI. And I was like, that's really incredibly spooky and incredibly well done. It was interesting because we cross-board, so we shot 2 episodes at a time. And so we also shot a bunch of it in Canada and then came back to California to finish all the exteriors. And so there was never a feeling of a complete episode. So I never felt like I knew what happened from beginning to end. Mm-hmm. And until I watch them and it comes together, I forget how many scenes I'm in episodes. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh my goodness, this was really like, you do not remember what piece you shot for what episode.
It's like binge watching in a way. You're like, oh my God, when was that episode?
You're seeing it come together and it's this complete thing and you haven't remembered it being complete since you read it the first time. Mm-hmm.
Well, in episodes 3 and 4, they put you in a situation which, you don't really get to see a character, be put in, where you're the ex-wife with your ex-husband and his current wife and his current family, and you're forced to be together despite it being a crisis. That doesn't take away from the fact that, even though, the end of the world is coming, that it's like you still have certain little things that you just can't get over as far as human relations go.
I think in that situation, my backstory was that I'm the one that left him, which made me really, really happy, so that it wasn't sort of the, obvious go-to, the scorn ex-wife, or the and that's his girlfriend and her family, and I feel like because they're both mothers, there is empathy. I think just being under the same roof, it becomes about what do you say, what don't you, in any circumstance when you're under someone's roof. It's also like Salazar and Travis, there's these 2 alpha males and they're dealing with other things as well as to who's going to be in charge and who knows more or whatever that ends up being. So I think it was more that than resentments. I love, and I think it speaks volumes, the scene where she talks to me about Susan and she tells, look, I know we're not friends, but for the kids, this, that, and the other. And I agree to this thing. I think in that moment, it showed, I think, a mutual respect as women and the strengths of what we know Travis to be and what women are capable of doing, of whether I'm really capable of doing it or not. Deciding that I will not let her, I think, speaks volumes to the respect I have for her as a person and as a woman, and vice versa, for her to ask me.
Yeah, it's really good. I really actually like the double family dynamic and how it's working out. And even with the last episode from this past week, we could start to see where the divide is starting to happen. Because for the first couple episodes, I was like, all right, how are they going to cohabitate with all these people in these families? And then clear lines were starting to be drawn in the last episode where you can kind of see where things are going to split off. Like, where is that possibly going to start taking us? Is it going to get more tense in that kind of, I don't want to spoil anything, but is it going to get more tense with the family relationship?
Well, the great thing is that, like, when I first read them, I was like, oh man, I don't have a lot to do with them. Like, how am I busy doing these things? And I think it was great that, like, because Liza's a nursing student, she got to sort of find something to feed her and make her feel like she can do something in this time where we're just like waiting in this 9 days. And so she goes around the neighborhood doing the best she can. And that becomes a little resentful for Madison in terms of like, she's left with playing the role of the woman of the house.
Yeah.
But like by the end of it, you know, when she says, Liza did this, I was like, oh, I actually wrote Kim. I was like,
sorry.
You know, I was like, every time I watch, I love her so deeply, and I think one of the greatest of everything I've done, one of the greatest, profound, gifts has been a friendship with her. But I wrote her, she was like, I don't remember what happened in that episode. I was like, it ends with, and I quoted her, and she's like, she wrote back, oh, I was mad at Liza. That's what she wrote back.
That's
I love her so much, like, you know, and so yeah, I know you at the end of that episode, you're sort of like, It was
really like a brick wall because you're like, oh, where's this going to go? And you're like, oh crap, like that escalated quickly.
I'm not going to tell you it happens, but I do redeem myself.
Okay.
In my childlike voice.
We're getting down to the very end of season 1. It's a 6-episode run. Anything you can tell us going into the last episode? Does it, without giving a spoiler?
We have 2 more episodes, yeah.
Without giving a spoiler, does it follow the Walking Dead format of usually ending on a cliffhanger, or is it going to be, we don't know what the future holds kind of ending?
I think it's going to be both. It's going to be, I know it's going to be both. I know. I'm like, I know that it's going to end, there's going to be surprises, and there's definitely going to be also, I don't know what the world holds for them.
What do you know about season 2 then?
That they don't know anything. That they have no idea. That right now it's the first episode hasn't been written.
Oh, so you're still waiting to get that call saying, okay, we start filming on this date?
No, they sort of know when they start filming, and the writers are now like they breaking story, and they're now starting to write their outlines. But that's what I know, that they don't even know where it's shooting.
So far, I guess, in this universe, because it's the same like Walking Dead universe, you haven't been covered in blood and guts yet. Are you been very happy about that, or do you want to just be completely soaked from Walker blood yet?
Well, there's moments that happen in the next few episodes. It's weird. It's sort of like, I have a lot of testosterone. I'm like a 14-year-old tomboy. And so there's a lot of me that, like, there's scenes in the next episode where all of a sudden I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm in an action film. And I love that. Like, there's like huge production days, and I'm just like, this feels like a total like $100 million action film. And so that was exciting. I mean, you know, you want to do it. It also sounds like a good idea till you're in it, and you're like, this is gross.
Yeah, because I can just imagine in the heat of LA, as opposed to just as bad as Georgia, it's got to be not fun, covered in sticky blood.
I think nothing beats the sticky world and the wood of Georgia. From what I've heard from people I know on the show.
So do you have like a lot of communication with the other cast members? Are they like, hey, don't take the mojo away from us?
No, we saw each other at Comicon and didn't see each other haven't seen each other. They were in middle shooting. They were really, really supportive and lovely, and open and just wonderful people, which I think comes from the top. It trickles down from, a president of AMC, Charlie, and just all the way down, I think. They're very, very adamant in letting people know that we're not competing. Yeah. We're not the same show. We're a prequel. And so there is none of that. So if they did have that, I'd be like, we're not no one's told you. Yeah. No, they're so not that, we're not, it wasn't, I don't think we ever felt like they were going to come and feel that way. And they didn't. They were really lovely and supportive. And excited because I think they, while they're filming in Atlanta, they're hearing what's going on because we have a lot of the same producers. So they get to hear what's going on with us or whatever personal stories people are sharing, which I hope we were behaved well enough to make them go, yeah, they're good people, they're not a-holes or whatever. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely.
So,
obviously with Fear the Walking Dead right now, being as popular as it is, people recognize you from this show. But, excuse me. But, before that, people knew you from, All My Children, and then going into Orange is the New Black. When you're out on the street or somebody recognizes you, what do you get recognized for the most?
right now I still get recognized the most for Orange. I think, it's so weird. Like the randomness, like, you know, we were in Canada with a hidden name, a covert operation in the middle of nowhere. No one's supposed to know. And I get a piece of fan mail, and the piece of fan mail is from America. And I'm like, how did I get this here? I open it up and it's a picture of a character I play on Grimm. That I have a small recur on. I was like, what? It's that random.
Dear Agent Chavez, please sign this in return.
That's what it was. I was like, you guys, look what I got at Fear the Walking Dead, a piece of fan mail from Grimm. It was like amazing.
See you at your hotel.
But the only piece of fan mail I got there was for Grimm. I can't even imagine how that happened.
Someone was like, this'll freak her out.
Yeah. And like the other day, somebody mentioned, like, walked by me. Mostly it's Orange still. I think because it's been 4 years, so people know me more. And I think the more they see the next 2 episodes, you know, my character is still being developed. So there's more of me per episode, at least different parts of me, different experiences. So I think people by the end of the 6th episode will have different feelings, you know, but I think they've been with Aleda more than they've been with anybody else. So.
Because, besides all of that, I mean, you've had an extensive career here. I just want to point out some of the major projects that you've been a part of because it's very impressive. For as far as movies go, I forgot, and I went back and looked at it. You're in Miami Vice.
Right? Did you see me in that little, like, Clint Eastwood moment I had there?
You were in Blow. And this part I couldn't find you, but I saw you listed for Desperado.
It's not me. Do not believe. This is a good thing that you brought this up. People out there in the world, do not believe everything you read on the internet. The things on IMDb are not always your credits, and you have no idea how hard it's been to try to get that off of my internet, off of my IMDb. The thing is that Robert Rodriguez has a sister that has the same name as me, and I think he gave her a small part in Desperado. So for years and years, I'd show up places and people would be like, I love your brother. I'm like, that's not my brother, dude. If he was, I wouldn't be working here.
You should kids.
Yeah. So that's good because I'm not in Desperado. I mean,
because you should be claiming royalties then if they're gonna keep it
and
up there.
I would have been like, you better put me in all your movies. But like, and I wouldn't have had to gone back to working as a bartender for so many years in between things I've done. But I'm not in Desperado, and there's like one other credit on there that is also not mine.
Well, let's see if it's one of these here. Because listen to this list that she's been involved with. 6 Feet Under.
Me.
Okay. Oz.
Me.
NYPD Blue.
Me.
ER.
Me.
Third Watch.
Me.
The Shield.
Me.
Prime Suspect.
Me.
Law and Order.
Me.
Which is awesome because she's 3 different roles over the span of 5 years.
And then welcome to Law and Order.
And then you did Law and Order SVU.
Yes.
Which is awesome. Of course, All My Children.
Me.
You were on Power on Stars.
Yes.
And, you know, Grimm,
yeah.
as you said.
There's the rest of them on me.
Else. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's like something like golf balls or something. We filmed it. I'm like, what is that? Who is that? What is that? But, yeah, so I don't even know if his sister is still acting, but, you know, she's obviously a SAG member. And so they lumped them all together.
You should just send a notice to SAG and just say, oh, there's been a change of address. Please send all checks to here.
Except for the fact that if she is not acting, they'd be sending my checks to her.
Oh, damn it. That's right.
It's like reverse Columbia House.
Yeah, she's the only one that would benefit from that, other than I hope from her brother.
Besides, we know that there's going to be a season 2 for Fear the Walking Dead.
Right.
What else? What other projects do you have in the works?
I'm in the middle of finishing the 4th season of Orange. We're halfway through shooting that. So that's kind of it right now. I've been doing a lot of just purging and like in my apartment. I've just been spending a lot of time at home. I don't know if it's because I just experienced this like intense apocalyptic thing or as much work as I did. I ended up doing another episode of Grimm that should be out really soon. And that sort of wraps up that story in a really fun kind of great way. And I don't know what else I'm going to have. I guess more of these things.
Not a bad thing to have.
Yeah, no, a really, 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 really good thing to have. It's an embarrassment of riches right now.
One other thing I wanted to point out with Orange is the New Black is everything is very cliquey in this prison here. You know, you have the black girls, the white girls, the religious girls, the Spanish girls.
The meth heads.
The meth heads.
The old timers.
The Spanish girls are the prettiest ones in the whole system there. And
that's very sweet
make
of you.
All the other cliques do all the nude scenes, and the Spanish girls, who are the most attractive ones, don't have to really do any of them.
I think that has to do...
I think it's hysterical that they do that.
But I think it has to do with not being on contract. So, the first season, there were 4 people that were series regulars, so I don't know who decided that who needed to be naked and who didn't and how that was worked out. And then the second season, they added another bunch of women, more of the black women,
right.
And made them series regulars, so I guess that was part of their contract. Like, now you get paid.
We'll give you full time, but you got to sign to this.
Yeah, and so I think what happened is there was a moment in the second season for me where I had, or the first season, I don't remember, it's a blur, where I come on to Matt, to the guard, and like full on, it was like nude, it became this huge thing. Like, no, that's not happening. I never signed up for this. And so it's sort of that. I think it's not randomness. I think it's more of like, a lot of us are recurs. And so we were not, I'm like, I don't know about we. I can only talk about me. I'm like, that's not going down like that.
Well, I didn't think of it as being random. I just noticed that it's like, okay, here
That's
are the
so
really
funny.
attractive girls. We're not going to make them get naked. Let's all the awkward ones and the really like.
There's some of the attractive
ones that'll
women
kill
that
all
do
the
get
guys.
naked. I've seen some sexy women get naked, but right.
It doesn't have the feel of Oz,
Right,
where
of course.
there was just random dudes naked for
Right,
no
right,
reason, just
right.
because it was Oz.
Yeah, no, ours I think has to do with who's on contract and who's a recur and who's willing to do what on a recur
I thought it was
basis.
just to keep people stringing them along.
On
It's
the
like,
Latinos.
eventually they're going to get to the really hot girls.
Eventually,
They haven't
one
gotten there
season,
yet.
all of them will be naked. I personally, if it gets to that with me, I would need to have at least 6 weeks in advance to full on do a cleanse and like work my butt off for that 5 seconds of camera. I am not kidding. They know that doesn't happen. Like, that's not today. I don't have that today. I'm not camera ready.
Well, if you go the progression of people on Walking Dead in a season or two, you're going to be so ripped and jacked from like
Totally.
having to fight zombies. You're not even have to worry about that.
I know. That's what happened in Miami Vice. I had 6 weeks of training leading up to the principal day of photography, and I was in like the most insane shape of my life.
Yeah, that's all you have to do for if they get a season 5 for Orange.
Right.
You just go, let me do season 2 of The Walking Dead.
Dead.
They're getting me a trainer.
Right.
Then we'll discuss for season 5.
Totally.
So with all these different shows you work on, do you have to travel a lot for filming? Because I know like Orange is the New Black films in Brooklyn a lot, and then Fear the Walking Dead seems like it's like
films
LA.
in Queens a lot. It's actually, I travel so little I live really close to
Okay.
Kaufman Astoria. So that's an amazing, just happenstance. Fear shot in Vancouver and in LA, and then Grimm shoots in Portland. And then I had a small recur. I don't know if I'm coming back on Power, and that shoots in Brooklyn and Steiner. So yeah, I do have to travel all over the place. It has its great things and it has its challenging things of like just exhaustion, but it's all good. These are like, I'm just embarrassed to even say, like, complain about any of it. I'm like, the truth of the matter is actors will live in Japan. It doesn't even matter where to do great work.
Yeah, and you're traveling from hit show to hit show to hit show. It's really not a chore.
No, and I've been really blessed with working with like cast and crews that are wonderful units. And so I'm just sort of like, really? I'm like, that's just the icing on the cake.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What do you do in your downtime when you're not shooting all of these things?
Tell you, I don't leave the apartment.
You binge watch things?
I do, and I also like lately I've been just.
Is Netflix the last thing you want to watch?
Sometimes I don't go on Netflix because it overwhelms me, like to see Orange come up. But
when
I
it's
did
right
just
on the
finish,
front page, like
yeah, I finished
tonight.
I finished watching The Honorable Woman. That's an 8-part series that I wanted to watch, which was amazing. I watched in 3 days. When I was shooting Fear, I watched 4 seasons of The Killing.
Oh, nice.
Because it was shooting in the same studio, and I always wanted to watch it. So I wanted to see that. I stay kind of dark. I don't, there's I want to see Bloodline, and like AMC has a bunch of new shows that are coming up, but I like being able to see a couple of seasons. So like, it's weird. Like right now, like 1 hour is not enough almost. You have to watch it's almost like watching a film, like 2.5, 3 hours. So three episodes is a good sort of block of like time to watch something, but sometimes it becomes 4 or 5 in one night.
Well, if you're looking for something dark to watch on Netflix, I would highly recommend Black Mirror if you haven't seen it.
Oh my God, I heard all about it.
It's like the sci-fi Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I heard.
It is like one of the craziest shows ever.
I'm going to. I heard about that.
It's 2 short seasons. Is the Christmas special up there now?
It's not up yet.
Okay, there's 2 short seasons, and then there's a Christmas special after the second season that stars John Hamm from Mad Men. Amazing.
Oh, that's great. I heard about that show. Yeah, I do that, and then I do a lot of cleaning and nesting at home. Like, I just found a recipe to make this real simple, like, tomato sauce, because tomatoes are in season in like August and September, and they're like the cheapest. And I've already made the small batch tomato sauce. You end up with 2.5 cups. I've made 3 batches in a week. I'm like, I think this is going to be a problem. So I have a freezer full of sauce, which becomes premeditated to eating pasta. Because what else are you going to do? Eat pasta sauce?
Bring it to the prison.
Yeah. So that's what I do.
There's Liz with her jars again.
Yeah. And I go, I try to see theater and sort of support people and spend time with like my friends that I hardly get to see.
Well, you've done, a lot of theater. So you've done movies, you've done television, and you've done some in theater. Which out of the 3 genres do you enjoy the most? Or is acting just acting?
They all have, challenges, and they all have great things about them. I enjoy all of them. I think when you guest star in something, it's kind of the most difficult because it's a machine you're going into, and you're sort of like going in to fill a job so basically when you audition, you're probably 90% of the characters already down. So there's no space for you. You don't get 17 takes. You have to come in fully prepared and and be the best and help them. Mm-hmm. Plays, there's a lot of variables. You hope that you have a great director that can get you to be the best that you can, that you get along with the whole cast. In that situation, if there's somebody that's crazy, you've seen them 8 shows a week, plus you're spending so much time rehearsing with them that then it can be a little, off, where they can affect you in a way that it's live. So there's no magic of editing. There could be someone that rubs you and you have scenes with them. You better figure it out and protect yourself so that you can do that. And sometimes you can't. Sometimes there's no chemistry. And films are these machines that sometimes you're waiting days. They call you in, you go back home. They call you in. That one you definitely get paid to wait the most. Yeah.
So which out of that is your favorite?
I don't have a favorite. I think maybe films, because I haven't done enough of them. I'd like to do more films, but the parts in films are smaller. And I think now that I have regular parts, they're more complete, so you feel there's more gratification in doing something like a Leda that becomes a real character because now she lives inside me fully the way a play does. I think for the longest time a play was because you really get to fully live and create a character.
And it's very intimate too.
And also really dimensional of this character and bring her as fully to life as possible, where in films you'll have a smaller part. And a lot of times in TV you have a smaller part. But right now, my favorite is television. It's AMC.
Yes, of course. Fear the Walking Dead. Sunday nights, 9 p.m. on AMC.
Liza.
Well, AMC's got great stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Like,
all their stuff is like character driven, so incredible, so different.
And
they have new stuff coming up.
Yeah, I just saw the trailer for, I think it's like Into like the Borderlands or Badlands, whatever it is. Which kinda looks like a ninja Game of Thrones type thing. It looks pretty awesome.
It's insane. I had someone that was working on it. It's like a giant endeavor, and that trailer looks amazing, right?
Yeah, it seems like it's a really big just world. Like I got a really just grand sense of what it's going to be just on that 2 minutes.
And I love me some martial arts stuff.
Yeah.
So that I was like, ooh.
So when do we see you in it?
I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. That's going to be a lot.
She finds the government's secret time
probably,
portal. And
the chances are I probably will not be in that show.
Yeah.
We're running out of time with you. Before you got the role in Fear the Walking Dead, were you familiar with Walking Dead? Were you watching the show? Did you go back and maybe read any of the comics to find out the story?
No, I was familiar with the show. I had friends that were on the show. I'd seen it on and off. I did not read. I had no time. None of us really had time to read the comics, and they weren't affecting our story and the story we were going to say directly. So it was basically about. I had just finished doing a play in LA, and so I was about trying to find Liza as soon as possible and be as prepared as I could possibly be with the short amount of time I had. And so it was basically about like, who is she? What story are we telling in one episode per episode? So it became about what's going on in the scene. It became about scene to scene, and like spending some time with the director talking about our backstory and getting to know each other as best we could. And then it just sort of evolved. And we just sort of like worked with like the basics of being truthful to the story we were telling and figuring out our character.
Now with the in-between seasons coming up, would you go and watch Walking Dead, or do you feel that might compromise what you're doing?
I don't think it'll compromise what I'm doing. I'm looking forward to watching it. You know what else I've never seen? That I have to see, but it's so many episodes, but I'm afraid I'll get nothing done in my life.
Seinfeld?
The Sopranos.
Oh, Sopranos.
Sopranos is a great one too.
I know. Everyone's like, you've not seen. I'm like, I know so many people I know, but it's so many years. It's like we're opening up Moby Dick. It's like, that's a lot of pages.
Yeah, someone told me the same thing. They're like, oh, you should watch Lost. I'm like, I don't have 180 hours that I could schedule
like
out
the
right
idea
now
of that causes me trauma.
Exactly.
Because I know that like once I open it, I'm going to be like, I can't do anything. I'm not showering. I'm not doing anything for weeks at a time.
So I just have one last quick question.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that they said that there's going to be a plain Walking Dead like spin-off, like one episode type thing. I don't know if you read about this online, that there's going to be like an outbreak on a plane and that they're going to be doing like a one episode like
Oh, wasn't that something that they did these people created these little commercials? Yeah, it's a web series.
Oh, it's a web series because there was a shot in one of the episodes where Nick saw like a plane. And
yeah,
it was like kind of tilting.
And they
I didn't know
like,
if that was like going to be related.
It was this web series. It sounded amazing, right? Like they had people like bring in like ideas, and then they did one right into like a whole. Is it going to be a full web series? That would be my AMC lovely, amazing PR person, Brian. He knows things I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Oh my God, that's exciting.
Oh no, the military's going to come and take me away now for asking that question.
It's a web series.
Okay, cool.
Are we not allowed to too much? We can't talk about it.
Oh, they're going to old yeller us.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Fear the Walking Dead is Sundays, 9 p.m. on AMC. It's done. It's getting there.
Yeah.
We're reaching the end here, people. So you got to check this out.
I can feel it. It's building up to something really good.
I'm not even like feigning being excited. I'm watching it for the first time with the audience. So I full on go home and get like,
See, I'm already getting aggravated because I know it's going to build up and then it's just going to stop. And then season 6 of Walking Dead comes on the following week.
Right,
and then we got to wait till next year for season 2.
Yeah.
And I'm going to spend, 6 months just being really pissed off.
Yeah, but you'll be
enjoying it, loving it, but like, damn it, I knew this was going to happen.
Yeah, but
you'll be
for it again. The idea is to be really filled with the other one, and there'll be 52, at some point there'll be 52 weeks of walkers, people. That is what AMC is doing worldwide.
It's gonna be like all my zombie children. Like
that's it. It's just gonna be one, and then the next, and then back.
While we're in
back.
Georgia, I'm gonna be like, "But what happened to Los Angeles?" And then we get to Los Angeles. What's going on in Georgia?
Or probably not. By like the second episode in Georgia, you'll be like, LA was so far away. That feels like such a long time ago.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
We're wrapping up here. Final thing. Do you think they're making any kind of merchandising for Fear the Walking Dead? Are you going to have an action figure?
I don't know who makes those decisions, but
because that's when you know you've really made it, when you have your own action figure that you can annoy your family with on Christmas by sending everybody a copy of your.
Well, we all did go through all these amazing machines to get like 100,000 pictures of our bodies taken.
Like those, 3D scanning.
It was the most incredible thing, which I was like, this is for an action figure, which seemed really
They
surreal.
said that, but it's really for the nude scenes for Orange is the New Black.
Fine, take it. CGI it. Take it on. Bring
She's
it
just
on.
going to smile politely and we'll put somebody else's body there.
Totally. I'm all for it. It'll make me be able to eat like my pasta sauce with my pasta.
Elizabeth, thank you so much. It's E. Rodriguez on Twitter.
Yes.
And Instagram too?
The only Elizabeth Rodriguez, which of course is because there's thousands of us.
Yeah, it's kind of a common name.
Yes. Yes. No, the only Elizabeth Rodriguez on Instagram. Yeah, no relation to Robert, though I'm assuming he's very talented and a great guy.
Thank you so much. Fear the Walking Dead, again, Sunday, 9 p.m. on AMC. We're at the end here, people. You need to see it. If you haven't, you want to skip it, I get it. It'll be all on demand and binge watch everything. And of course, Orange is the New Black is on Netflix as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
When when the cycle comes up again for either of those shows or a brand new project, please come back and see us sometime.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to It's Erik Nagel. 866-969-1969 is the phone number. Before we get into everything else, we have 2 pairs of tickets to the live event for Back to the Future at Radio City Music Hall, October 15th. I believe is the date that we have these pairs for here. So we have 2 pairs. If you want that, give us a call, and we will hook you up with that. Keep the song going a little bit, Lewis. Reason why we're playing this is because Matt turned me on to some interesting Star Wars news.
Yeah.
That had to do with the Beastie Boys.
That's right. So apparently, I guess J.J. Abrams is a big Beastie Boys fan. And so he named one of the new aliens in the upcoming film
Paul Revere.
Yes, Paul Revere. He named it Elo Asti, which is
nice.
He removed the H and the N from Hello Nasty to come up with the character name. And then there was another picture that's not there, but actually there's a picture of the card art for the figure. And it actually says "Born to Ill" on his helmet.
That's awesome.
In that rebel kind of
language,
writing.
whatever that is.
But you could see it, right? I mean, now that you know what it says.
Oh
you
yeah,
can
totally.
see it.
Well, yeah, I was that's when I was looking at the other one you had on his on the screen before. I was like, that looks like letters, but I can't really read it. But now that I see what it is, I probably could.
And the new cantina is now called Paul's Boutique.
Yeah. So who knew?
Who knew?
Beastie Boys now part of the Star Wars universe.
Well, there you go. Star Wars
As
is
it
still
should be.
months away, and we're already so oversaturated. While I was in Florida this past week, I happened to just go to the store, get some bottled waters and things. And as I walk past the dairy section, it's up on my Instagram, Erock Radio, and I'll tweet it on It's Erik Nagel on Twitter there. They did custom bottles for Coffee Mate.
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
It's so ridiculous.
I feel like the Star Wars marketing is trumping Kiss marketing right now. You're gonna be able to get a Han Solo coffin, no problem.
People are going to be sick of the movie before it even comes out.
No, and I'll tell you why. Because even though you have all of this merchandise, you still know nothing about the movie. The movie is 2 months away. 2.5 months away?
Yeah.
78 days or some shit like that. And you still don't really know anything about the movie. And then earlier this week, someone from the Star Wars camp, I don't know if it was J.J. Abrams or if it was someone from Hasbro or Kathleen Kennedy might have even sent it, but she said anything that you've seen so far as characters and anything you think you know about the story based on what you've seen. No.
Oh.
But it's
there
like,
it is.
It's like the first third it's the first third of the film.
Okay.
So nothing has been leaked past that, or you've seen no imagery from anything from the last 2/3 of the film. So everything is still very mysterious.
Wouldn't it be great the next wave of promotion is just give away the ending?
That's
and
it.
it's like, we're not telling you the middle of the movie.
Well, I find that
Sure, there's this guy, and then he dies, but how does he get there?
Well, I find lots of shows and stuff do that now with the advertising. They show so much stuff, and then you actually see the thing, and it's like, oh, that was only the first 5 minutes of this.
Well, Right, and
unlike the Terminator trailer, which gave you everything in the movie, and then you go see the movie and go, there was nothing left to be surprised about.
And J.J. Abrams, I can't speak tonight at all. Oh my God, I'm tongue-tied. J.J. Abrams is historically kind of secretive about his movies. He doesn't like to give away too much in the trailer, and I actually applaud him for that. Like, I like the fact that he wants me to actually enjoy the movie for the first time on the screen.
Like the first trailer I had ever seen for Jurassic Park before it came into theaters, all it was a footprint, and I was like, "That's it, I'm sold."
That's it.
Dinosaur footprint. That's all I needed to see.
The roar. It was the roar and the footprint.
That was it. I was like sold. Yep. Like good marketing. It's you don't need a lot. Well, leave people guessing.
Continuing talking about the marketing here, I have the photo up. It's up on it's Erik Nagel on Twitter.
What does Wookiee spiced latte taste like?
I don't know. And then there's C-3PO hazelnut, R2 French vanilla, and
Boba Fett is Italian sweet cream,
which is just racist.
Hey, it's a boba.
Hey,
it's a Boba Fett.
So that's there. But then, as I'm walking around, I see this.
Ugh. I saw those at Forbidden Planet this week.
We're looking at a photo of, they brought back the Furby.
Yep,
which at one point in time was probably the thing to get for Christmas one year. Mm-hmm. They brought it back as Chewbacca.
And not only that, he's playing a Furby app on its cell phone right now, the Furby in that picture.
So I saw this back in February when Hasbro had their press event for Toy Fair. They actually presented this. And this was like the big reveal. Like, they were like, you guys are not going to believe what we have next, right? And like, as media, and this was an event just for collectors media. So it's guys just like me who care nothing about like this, right? And so we're all sitting around like, what is the big reveal? Everybody thinking it's going to be episode 7 related. And they pulled back the curtain to show Furbaka, and the room, it was crickets. It was like, are you fucking kidding? This is the reveal?
And then it did. Oh, God, I can't talk now. Now I'm getting you.
See?
Then it did a quick jump scene like The Simpsons, and all of a sudden there's a riot and fire, and cars are flipped over.
Practically.
Since you're talking about the Rare Collective stuff, Pit Doc in New York. Sup, man? You want to talk about collector stuff for the movie?
Actually, I want to ask you guys a question.
Sure.
First Friday, about a month ago, I walked in. I knew exactly what I don't want again. I walked into the Apple store that day and bought 2 of the BB-8s, the Sphero BB-8s.
Nice.
For my niece and my grandnieces and everything like that. Turns out I didn't know if they wanted them much. She wants them for her kids. But I have the second one. I figured for the first time I'm going to sell something to make up for the cost of the darn thing. The question was, I should have done this a couple weeks ago, but it was working. When should I sell it? Now, or should I sell it right between the time of the movie opening up and Christmas coming up? Or are they going to make too many of them for me to not be able to turn any kind of a profit on them?
I mean, honestly, you might make a little bit of a profit on them, but when they first came out that first weekend, when you couldn't actually get them, maybe you would have done okay. But I think they're starting to resurface again, and I don't think that there's a limited run on them at this time. So
I wasn't sure if it was a limited run or not.
No.
So I was wondering if after the movie came out, every little rich kid's going to want one of them or not. So.
Collectibles are so hard these days. They're not worth what they used to be.
I'm thinking of a way that he could probably turn a profit, and it's not by eBay and any of those mass selling sites. You probably could make good money off it by going a little old-fashioned and post it like on Craigslist or the Penny Saver if your town has it there, because somebody's going to see it and like, oh my God, he's got one. Christmas is coming up. I need to get it for my kid. And you might be able to, swindle a few bucks for yourself. That's if you want to do it that way.
Around here is pretty poor, though. That's why it's kind of hard for me to do up here. That's why I was thinking of going to eBay or something like that.
Yeah, I mean,
start burning houses.
No, look,
yeah, pretty much.
Look, go to eBay. Put in BB-8 Sphero. Check the completed auctions.
Yeah, I was going for about $220, which is better than nothing, everything like that. When right about a week or two after they came out, I'm not sure what they are now, but I'm wondering if after the movie, if it hits big, they'll sell out again real quick.
Well,
or not.
So here's the gamble: if BB-8 is Jar Jar Binks, it won't be worth a penny. If BB-8 is huge, it might be worth something.
Then I have my own BB-8.
So there you go. You have to gamble. I think he'll be huge, but it's up to you.
Pit Doc, we got to run here and move on, but where in New York are you?
I'm in northern New York. I come and see Ron all the time for his show.
Okay. Would you like a pair of tickets to the Back to the Future live event on October 15th at Radio City Music Hall?
October 15th. Unfortunately, I don't. Wait a minute. See, what day is that?
Oh, God.
Thursday?
I think it's a
Thursday, I think.
Can't make it.
All right.
You should have taken them and sold them on eBay.
Really? I'd rather you give it to somebody who could use them.
You're an honest man. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put you on hold. I'll give you a copy of Furious 7, the extended edition, on Blu-ray, DVD, and digital download, all right?
Give that away, too.
Oh, God damn it, Pitt. I'm trying to be nice to this guy. All right, final offer. I'm trying to buy your love. Do you want a copy of Tremors 5 Bloodlines? I know the answer is no. I'm going to put you on hold.
You got my love anyway, guys.
All right. Thanks, Pit Dog. I'll talk to you later.
I'll take all of his prizes.
Let's go to Carly in Brooklyn. Carly.
Hey.
Hi, how are you? Ooh, it's a girl. The what?
I'll take all the things that he didn't want.
Sold. Okay, you got a pair of tickets to the live event at Back to the Future at the Radio City Music Hall. At Radio City Music Hall.
Just ask for the thing that
Yes, because we're running out of time, and I got to give a lot of this stuff away. So you got a pair of tickets for October 15th to see the live event of Back to the Future at Radio City Music Hall.
Oh, I'm so excited. Thanks, man.
Okay, I'm going to put you on hold, and Lewis will get your information.
Congrats, Carly. Congrats.
Yeah.
Let's see. Wait, Matt in Cleveland. Matt, what's up?
Hey, what's up, dude?
Hey.
Hey, I was originally calling for the tickets to Back to the Future, but you were talking about the Coffee Mate.
How are you going to go if you're in Cleveland?
I travel. My ad agency's in New York, too, so I travel there all the time.
Do you want the tickets?
I mean, I would love them.
All right, let's see how the call goes first. Go ahead.
No pressure.
You already called me out on Instagram, but I asked actually one of the designers on those fucking bottles.
Right, I didn't believe him, and it turns out it was true.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's just weird you were talking about it as I was calling for the tickets. So,
all right.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to work on, though. I mean, I know they're stupid as shit, but they were fun.
I want the Boba Fett. Actually, there's an R2D2 one, right?
They're delicious too.
I need an R2 one for my Astromech collection, so I'll be buying one. There you go.
I recommend the Darth Vader one. It's awesome.
There you go. Nice.
All right, Matt, I'm going to put you on hold, and we'll give you the other pair of the Back to the Future live event at Radio City Music Hall, October 15th. Enjoy them, all right?
You just made my day, man. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you for calling. Tell two friends, my friend.
What flavor is Darth Vader? Like the dark side coffee? I feel like you just have your coffee black.
It's really chocolate cow.
Chocolate cow.
All right, we got to go take another break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Zachary Levi, star of Heroes Reborn on NBC. He also has a show on Sci-Fi called Geeks Who Drink, and has a brand new nerd clothing line called The Nerd Machine, Nerd HQ. Check all that stuff out as we talk to him next. Be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome to the show right now. Of course, you've known this gentleman from his series Chuck, but you're about to rediscover him again in Heroes Reborn on NBC. Say hello to Zachary Levi. Can I call you Zach?
Oh, yeah. Zachary, Schmucko, Poopy Pants, Stumpy Bomb, whatever.
Well, because you would think the Zachary part would be the part where people are like, do I call him Zachary? Do I call him Zach? Other people sometimes is it like Levy, like Eugene Levy, or is that Levi?
Oh, Levi.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's
Levi.
definitely the more confusing part. Cause it's, I mean, my actual last name is Pugh. It's Welsh, but Levi's my middle name. So I've been going by Zachary Levi professionally for a long time. And understandably, everyone thinks, oh, you're a good Jewish kid. And I'm like, I feel like I'm deceiving you right now. Although I've been to Seder, I can't even tell you how many times. Like, because everybody in my agent, my manager, my lawyer, they're all,
right.
Everybody in Hollywood's, Jewish. Everyone who controls everything is Jewish. Everyone who controls my life in Hollywood is Jewish. Anyway, and Zach, I mean, Zachary's like the professional, title, I guess, but no, call me Zach.
Zach,
call me whatever you want. Just don't call me late for dinner.
Do people ever, when you started coming around, on the scene, as, if you will, for TV and movies and whatnot, with the name Levi, not knowing your real name, did they assume that you were maybe part of the Gene Company? Like that was, you had family ties to that too?
No, every once in a while somebody asks me that, and I'm like, no. Although I wish that would probably be very lucrative.
Sometimes people say, "Oh, your last name's Hunt." Any relation to the Hunts?
Like Hunt's Ketchup.
Yeah, people always try to associate you to a family dabbling. He's not really taking this seriously.
I see. Yeah, I guess there is something like that. I think, I don't know. I wonder if, I've always kind of taken it, I just wonder if people are more intrigued. Like it's an added level of celebrity. Like they met somebody who was a Rockefeller, or they met somebody who was like a Vanderbilt or a Carnegie or something like that. Like anytime I've ever met anybody that has a last name that could, be connected to something, I'm always piqued, a little intrigued.
Right.
But I feel like there's not even that many names that are so famous. Like if I ever met a Kardashian,
yeah,
I would have to ask, are you? And I would have to believe that
you should ask them. More chances than not, you're going to run into one of them somewhere at an event, and you can go up to, like to Kylie or something like, you related to like Kim? Is that her sister? And she'll just look at you like you're an asshole.
I do. Speaking of they all dropped it.
No, they were, and a lot of them were, because I grew up on Long Island, but a lot of them were on Long Island. There were people who had the last name Hitler. Before I was born, right, in the 60s and 50s, 60s, 70s in there. And, you can look up in like Newsday articles and things like that of these families that had to change their name.
Oh,
because
full on, dude.
What was going on. But my surprise was that you waited till the 60s? Like that war ended in the 40s. You think that would have been the first thing you did?
They were hoping they could slide through. Look, hey, Hitler, fine. We're not related to that.
I'm not registering to vote.
What's with the mustache, though, Tim?
I'm not registering to vote. I don't have a library card. We're going to skim on this. We got to change it.
No, we got to change
Got 20 more years out of it, but it's got to go.
Yeah.
Let me just set the plate here for people who may not know who you are. The show Chuck on NBC was a unique take at something sort of like, it was a little James Bond. It was a little Mission Impossible. It was all these kind of spy things put together in an unlikely way where it was programmed into your head. Yeah. And you worked at the like a Best Buy equivalent.
Yeah, the Buy More.
Just a regular guy working a regular job, and then all of a sudden you became one of the most important weapons to the United States government.
Exactly.
This show, like a lot of shows, I guess was struggling when it started, but then it hit its groove. And even though it wasn't getting the full mainstream, it had such a following that people were so dedicated to this show.
Yeah, it was an incredible experience, man. I mean, we came out, television it's so weird because, even up until, let's say, the early 2000s.
Right.
Television still was pretty strong. You could have a show and have pretty massive ratings.
Right.
But all of a sudden, kind of all at once, you had this convergence of cable was really starting to hit a stride with its own kind of original programming. And the internet was kind of providing, even if it was just like YouTube distraction at that point, it was still something. And then clearly DVR, which was really the biggest thing, because now all of a sudden live numbers just didn't mean what they meant anymore.
Right.
So live viewership, which is really the only way you can kind of successfully monetize network television, was just dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping, and nobody knew what to do. And so we kind of came out. We premiered on Chuck in 2007, and so that was kind of it was really 5 years into the already decline, the kind of the sinking network numbers ship that was the juggernaut for so long, and they didn't know what to do. Nobody really knew what to do, but we did have this really incredibly passionate fan base. This, some might call a cult following, even though I think it's a bit bigger than a super culty niche following.
Right.
But regardless, they were really passionate about the show. They fought for us. I mean, we were on the chopping block every year, almost got canceled every year.
Well, see, that was the point. I wasn't saying like it was a super niche kind of show. I meant it in the fact that compared to the whole mainstream thing and network television still sort of being what it was back then, not what it is now. But your show on NBC, major network, wasn't really measuring up compared to some of the other shows that were on the networks.
No. I don't disagree with you.
You had such a fan base that kept this thing coming back.
100%.
Because there was enough people that made it financially worthwhile for the network and the production companies to keep bringing Chuck back because people loved it.
No, 100%. And I actually don't disagree with you. I do think that we were... for all intents and purposes, we were kind of a niche show. And
it wasn't fitting into what networks were doing.
No.
You guys were ahead of just barely, but you were ahead of your time for that kind of programming. Because if you came out now, it would be blockbusters, right?
I don't know though, because the numbers are so bad now.
No, but I'm saying the culture that's out there right now, because there's so many the comic book stuff, geek related programming, things like that everywhere, that they all do well in their respective fashions and networks that they're on. You guys were ahead of the time before that trend, and just barely, because while you were on, then Big Bang Theory came on, I think a couple years into your run.
Yep.
So you were kind of the first program there to get this ball rolling with this whole explosion for the geek and nerd genre.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I wonder if...
As far as network goes, I'll even say, because I'm sure there was stuff, Sci-Fi Network had stuff going on and whatever, but to get it to everybody that wasn't experiencing this kind of stuff, Chuck was, at least in my opinion, I think was the forerunner to get this ball rolling.
Well, I definitely think we were one could make the argument that we were right there in the beginnings, but I would probably argue that we were one of many different shows, including Big Bang, because now that I'm thinking about it, I wonder if Big Bang came out right at the same time. I feel like perhaps they did.
I think they're in their 7th season now or something like that.
Yeah, but
I think you guys had. I think
we might have had an edge on it. We might have had a slight edge on it.
I think you had 1, maybe 2 seasons.
We might have. But ultimately, whether we were the first show to do it or one of the first, we definitely were a very unique. We were uniquely placed in kind of the time of television. We were uniquely placed in the genre that we were. We were such a we were a cornucopia of genres. It was an action dramedy. So it was action, drama, comedy with also like mythology and mystery, and it was crazy, but what was so awesome about it was that it was an hour of television that I, more often than not, like the coolest compliment I could get, and I would get it more than most things about the show, which was entire families would sit down and watch it together. Like it wasn't like, this wasn't the show the kids like to watch. It wasn't the show the adults like to watch or whatever. It was everybody. And in a culture now where family time seems like fewer and far between.
Right.
Everybody appreciated that. It was like,
it was prime time on a Monday night.
Yeah, exactly. And in the way that people used to gather around a radio and listen to a radio program, a whole family, or even television, when it kind of first started. But now there's so much. It's like we're inundated with so many options. There's so much content. Kids will, fuck off and go play video games or YouTube or whatever, and not really watch anything that's on TV because they don't relate to what their parents want to watch. But Chuck was something that they all, I can't even tell you how many times kids or adults or even like grandparents would say, "Oh, I watched it with my whole family. We all just sit and watch it." And because we pushed the envelope, but not so much that kids couldn't still watch it without parents feeling like they were exposing their kids to something they shouldn't be watching, I
want to point out, at least for me, the impact Chuck had on my life.
Yeah.
I cannot hear a Rush song or see Centipede in an old arcade without thinking of Chuck.
That's fantastic.
And whenever that song is on the radio, all I can picture is that's how you beat asteroids to get to that code at the end of Chuck.
Yeah, Missile Command.
Yeah.
Missile Command. Yeah. Oh, dude, it was all the references that we had in the show. I mean, the writers did a really good job of bringing so much pop culture into it, and and great guest stars. We had great.
That episode alone tied the old-fashioned, old-school kind of nerdiness.
Yeah.
Rush is more of like a Dungeons and Dragons kind of nerdiness.
Totally.
And then you're bringing it in with Centipede, which again, old-school nerdiness with the arcade, into a show now, which is doing the new nerdy. You bridged the gap with that one episode.
Yeah, dude. There was a lot of really quirky, silly, fun stuff that we got to do. And the show had so much heart. I think just people could relate to that, and they just, and it could get zany, and people just like going on these fun adventures and missions with us every week.
Well, let's talk about where it's led you to now.
Yeah.
To Heroes Reborn on NBC. For those who aren't familiar, Heroes, I think had a 3 or 4 season run.
Four season
run. I'll be honest, I think I wasn't around for the 4th season like a lot of people, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I did catch up, as this was coming around to see about Claire Bennett's death and what have you there. Oh, there's so many things to go with this because I want to talk about, because I was at Comicon, seeing the display there and all that. We'll go there first. So there was a big display right outside of Comicon.
Yeah, massive.
Right by the railroad tracks across from the Hard Rock there. So much going on there. And, I was amazed at the reaction, people going over there, taking photos, trying to get every, free thing they were handing out and what have you, because Heroes started off so strong. And then by the end of the 2nd season, going into the last 2 seasons, it kind of petered off. And I don't know if it was because they were moving it around in its time slot, or if it was just a generational shift that happened right there, where people were starting to not follow the story anymore.
I think, I'm sure there's so many different opinions about what happened or what could have happened or should have happened or whatever. I think that unfortunately, when you have, nothing had been as big on television as Heroes when it premiered. Like it was that first season was so massive.
And it launched so many people.
Many people. And they had an international press tour. Like film status, like going around and doing multiple premieres in different countries around the world. Like that was Massive. I've never seen that happen before, and I haven't seen it happen since. But as with any kind of success, following up that success is just a really difficult thing to do. And you have so many cooks in the kitchen. You have executives from the studio and the network and all the producers and all the different international markets, and everybody's weighing in and saying, oh, wouldn't it be cool if this, and wouldn't it be cool if that, and we should do this and we should do that, and we got to keep this thing going. It's like a tentpole for NBC. I don't know. I think sometimes your head just gets spun, and you kind of lose track of where you started. But unfortunately, Heroes is one of so many IPs that this has happened to.
Right.
Matrix is, to me, something that happened to. I loved the first Matrix movie, and I thought the second and third had some really cool stuff in them, but they never really got back to the heart of what the first one was about.
Lost.
Oh, well, Lost was Lost.
Lost became an appointment viewing thing where everybody was addicted to watching it, getting anxiety, and then getting angry at the end, going, what the fuck happened? I just see, now I gotta wait till next week.
Yeah.
And they couldn't fully bring it back around again like that.
Yeah, that show broke my heart. I mean, there was still so many great things in it. Great performances, some really great episodes. But yeah, ultimately, at the end of the day, for it to not come full circle and make any sense or pay off the things that it kept presenting was really a bummer. It was really, really a bummer. And I think they were trying with Heroes. It's not lost on anybody. I mean, Tim's aware, the producers are aware, the cast is aware, the network's aware that it started in one place and ended in another. And I think that certainly with Heroes Reborn, they're trying to recapture some of the magic they had the first season.
Were you surprised when they announced this? Because I was like, wow, they're really giving this franchise another shot, because you never really see that. Like, unless it's a movie franchise and you're trying, like, let's say Sony and Fox, they're trying not to lose the Marvel rights that they have, so they'll reboot Spider-Man and Fantastic Four a million times just to keep the rights, not really caring what the fan base is thinking of it. They're looking at it as a business end. On television, that doesn't usually happen. You never get a resurgence, especially so far past the time of the original series, to bring back another edition of that series, that franchise.
No, it is surprising. And again, I don't know. My guess, if I was a guessing man, and I do guess often, my guess would be, look, television's nuts, man. It's hard. It's hard to stake a claim anywhere, with a new show. There's so many options. And I would guess that maybe NBC, in trying to figure out, well, what's a way that we could start a show now that already has a built-in audience.
Right.
And in order to do that, you're either using an existing IP that's a book, basing it off a movie, all that stuff all happens. And for this one, they thought, well, look, Heroes was really massive. It was, the biggest at one point. And it kind of petered off. It's been 5 years. That seems like it's sat long enough.
And it's one of the franchises that they have, or anybody has, that makes sense to bring it back, because superheroes have never been hotter in anything to do with our culture.
Totally. And at that kind of a world, you can kind of go anywhere with, right? So it's not like you have to pick up in a similar fashion, or like you're at a loss for story. Like you can, like in this case, the show picks up 5 years, just like in real life, or kind of mirroring real life, it picks up 5 years after the end of the original series, when Claire, basically exposes her power to the world.
Right.
And now we pick up 5 years into the world, now knowing there are people with abilities.
And you're a bad guy in this one, right? Because that's the impression I was getting off the trailer.
Yeah, essentially. I mean,
are you filling in like the Zachary Quinto role, like that kind of persona? Are you kind of filling that little niche in the show?
I don't want to say. I don't want to say anything because I don't want to spoil anything.
No, okay.
But definitely. Look, if you're watching, when you watch a premiere tonight, anybody out there who's listening,
tonight at 8 p.m.
Tonight
2
at 8
hour
p.m.
premiere
2 hour
on
premiere
NBC.
on NBC. 7 Central. And also, by the way, if you still have more hankering to see My Ugly Mug on television, Geeks Who Drink is on Sci-Fi at 11. That's the other show that I'm doing right now.
Also part of NBC.
Oh yeah, Sci-Fi's part of the Comcast Universal umbrella. You'll see that there are very clear good guys and there are pretty clear bad guys. I guess I would fall into that category, but I would also say that there's a lot of shades of gray in the show.
Okay.
And any good bad guy worth his wait, I think they don't think they're bad. They fully believe in whatever they're doing. I think it is the right thing to do. So you'll see a lot of, not everything is as it seems. And as the series progresses, it'll get even more gray, I think.
A lot of new characters in the show for Reborn.
Yeah,
also
mostly new.
Some returning characters in there. Noah Bennett, who was Claire's dad,
Yep,
is
HRG.
in there.
Mhm.
But then I guess they're guest roles because Hero's coming back.
Yes,
and
Sendel,
Matt Parkman.
Yeah, Sendel comes back. Greg Grunberg comes back. Mossy comes back. Jimmy Jean-Louis comes back.
Are they just appearances, or are they?
Nah, they're. I would say they're more than cameos. I mean,
Okay.
some of them, they're all slightly different, but there's some multiple episode arcs and all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Heroes Reborn. The 2-hour premiere is tonight at 8 p.m. on NBC. Then it's Thursdays 8 p.m. on NBC. Going forward there.
Yeah.
So please check that out, especially if you were look, give it an honest shot, because if you were fans of Heroes and maybe you were one of those people that didn't like the way it went, give this a shot, because they're trying to redeem the franchise. They're taking it in a new direction, which I think is making a lot of sense. And it's never been hotter time to bring back superhero characters, especially in this universe. I think it'll do well. Before we get out of here, I want to talk to you about San Diego Comicon and your other company, the Nerd Machine.
Yeah.
I was out at San Diego and I was at a party. You guys were sponsoring a party. I don't know if was it for Loot Crate or was it for Robot Chicken or something? You guys were the host for one of the parties out there.
Well, we have our own party called the Nerd Party. We have parties basically every night. So Thursday night we have a big open to the public, just fan party. Welcome to Comic-Con party. Friday night is our private sponsor party, but that's all the sponsors that we have at Nerd HQ, the event that we put on for the whole weekend. And Nerd HQ is basically, we get a venue, we pack it full of tech and games. We have a merch booth set up, and then we also have panels, celebrity signings, celebrity
you guys
photos,
were everywhere,
all for charity, all that stuff. And and then it's all, it started. I mean, we started it to be like, well, how do we have brand presence at Comic-Con for Nerd Machine? How do we sell merch? And then, I just kind of believe that if you give people a bunch of really cool opportunities and free stuff, that then they can go, oh, you know what? We dig you. Thank you for taking care of us. We want to take care of you. We like your brand. We want to buy a t-shirt, but part of that is also just throwing parties every night, because I like a good dance party. And, so Friday night, I think, Loot Crate was definitely had a partnership with us. So,
yeah, because one of the crates that came out, I think it was in June,
had Nerd Machine stuff in it.
Had Nerd Machine in there, had stickers and a couple other things in there, which is really cool.
Yeah. And all the guys at Robot Chicken are really dear friends. Seth and Matt, they've come and done panels with us every year, raised lots of money for charity. So yeah, Friday night probably might have been the party that you came to. It's just a shit ton of fun.
I think that sounds about right.
Yeah, just dancing and drinking and having a grand old time.
I just want to say it was a really cool time, and I was glad to see when I found out about your company and everything, I was like, wow, that he's tied into this. I'm like, that's really cool, because you're not just walking the line of, oh, I'm into geek stuff. You're actually doing something about it, and you're actually putting something out there.
I mean, I grew up my whole life a nerd. I mean, in the very part of what Nerd Machine is about is trying to change people's definition or help people to understand that, we're all nerds. Nerdy just means passionate. What are you nerdy about? You could be a fashion nerd or a fucking, a gym nerd. You're a workout nerd. You can be a car nerd. You can be a sports nerd. You can be a video game nerd or a comic book nerd, which tend to be more stereotypical. But my whole life, I grew up reading comic books and playing video games and doing theater.
Right.
Like, I don't know that you get nerdier than that. So me becoming an adult and then, then playing Chuck, exposed me in the entertainment world to Comic-Con for the first time. Like, I always knew about Comic-Con. I was always wanted to go down, but I wasn't a big cosplayer, and I don't really collect toys. That's not what I'm nerdy about.
Right.
So I was like, I guess I don't really need to go down to Comic-Con.
So your desk is not full of Funko Pop?
No. No, it's not. Although, good on them. That's a fun little movement they got going.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I've spent, I'm not even going to say, but lots of money.
Lots of money.
Into Funko.
At least $10.
They're good guys, yes.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe you'll have a deal for your hero character.
Oh, it'll be awesome.
Down the line.
That'll be awesome.
Heroes Reborn, Thursdays, 8 p.m. on NBC.
Yep.
Zachary Levi, thank you so much. Also, check out thenerdmachine.com.
Yep.
Check out the website. You have a cool app up there that people can download for the phone. Podcast stuff, videos, clothing, all this kind of cool shit. Check everything out. I have so much stuff I want to ask you, but we ran out of time.
Oh, good. Next time.
But next time you come back
Next
here,
time. And I'm moving
let's
to
talk
New York
about
in December. I'm doing a Broadway show. I'm doing She Loves Me for the Roundabout, so I'll be here.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I'll come back
That's
in.
actually not that far from here.
No, American Airlines Theater.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Zach, thank you so much. Also, if you want to send some love, Zachary Levi on both Twitter and Instagram. And tell him what you think about Heroes and everything else going on. Thank you so much, man. I can't wait to see you next time.
So appreciate it.
Oops, you know what the music means. Our time is up.
Yes, our time is up. Thanks to Zachary Levi, to Elizabeth Rodriguez, and to Bob Gale from Back to the Future. Really exciting show today.
It was a good show.
And thank you for Matt for making it in and surviving the treacherous weather outside.
No hurricane could keep me away.
We got to get,
man. We were worried you were trapped in the tunnel while it was filling with water.
We got to get out of here. Let's go around the room for the plugs, Matt.
BigKevsGeekStuff.com every Thursday for the new podcast. And if you're going to be at New York Comicon, swing by booth 129. We'll be there all weekend hanging out, and it's going to be a good time.
All right, and the show, it's Erik Nagel will be down there doing all these interviews and what have you. Won't be airing next week. It'll be airing the week after.
Right.
And we'll be here with all the Comic-Con stuff and everything that was going on with that. Doing a crossover show with Big Kev's Geek Stuff.
Yeah.
He'll be here, and Lisa will be here, I think, as well for that. Gittles, what do you got?
Gittle Base on the Twitter and Instagram, and also going to plug Sweet Chick and Butters and Scotch restaurants in Brooklyn.
Okay.
From Roland's Food Court.
All right. Anything for you, though? Any kind of takedown?
No,
we
man.
know you won the Lobster one.
I got first place in the Lobster takedown. I don't have any takedowns coming up right now. I'm on a takedown hiatus.
All right.
Nice.
Lisa?
Pat and Oswald tomorrow at Foxwoods in Connecticut. I'm going to open those shows. There's still some tickets left. Also, Monday, I'm at QED in Astoria for Cartoon Dump with Frank Conniff.
We're going to have to get Frank on the show, talk about Mystery Science Theater and all that.
Oh, my God, yes.
It'll be so awesome. A couple of people I want to thank. I was down in Florida this past week here doing a new project that'll reveal soon, but I got to do a lot of cool radio stuff down in Tampa and Orlando. I want to thank everybody at the Mike Calta Show, 1025 The Bone in Tampa there, Mike Calta, Spanish Gavin, Carmen and Ryan Hoppy, Drew Garabo, who's also there, did some stuff with me. Thank you for that. In Orlando, Russ Rollins and Carlos Nevada from Monsters in the Morning, WTKS there. Thank you for them. And also Royce and Marie from More Like Radio.
Nice.
For their hospitality and everything there. Oh, Sam. That's one there. Hi, Sam.
You're a radio fan, right?
Yeah.
I just heard. Have you heard Mike Francesa talking about Cork?
No.
Oh, it's a gift from God.
Is that coming up on your show?
Yeah, it's incredible.
All right. I did see all the FrancescaCon stuff.
Yeah, I didn't see FrancescaCon this year.
He does not know how to play to a crowd.
No, of course.
No, he just sit there and he just goes, "You're all nuts."
They're all gathered to make fun of him.
Yeah, and he shows up like Elvis walked into the building.
That's the con.
But he did like 5 minutes on Cork.
All right.
That MLB is selling, and it's the greatest thing.
Is this
I've
the
ever
new
heard.
snowblower?
No, because he's disgusted by it.
Okay.
Which is when he's at his best.
Okay.
Yeah.
So check out that on the Sam Roberts Show coming up next. Unless it's Saturday, then I think Dr. Steve is on with Weird Medicine after that.
Sure.
Of course, on demand and all that stuff, social media. It's Erik Nagel on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Erock Radio on Instagram. I think we covered everything, right?
I think so.
All right. So New York Comicon next week. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Until then, next time, be seeing you.
And that's all the time we have. Follow the guys on Twitter and Instagram at Erock Radio and at GeekStuffOG. Erock Radio and at GeekStuffOG. The show should be back next week, right here on OP Radio.